There you go. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Not to the Tonight Show, but to the GoBabyTrade show. Attila, you want to get us started?
Well, are you going to do the expectations?
When you introduce me.
Oh, fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my partner, business partner, Edward Pereira, does a pretty good job of setting the expectations. So he's got a few slides for you. So Edward, why don't you take it away?
Will do. Will do. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Figured I'd just scramble things up a bit and keep people thinking, at least,
Yeah.
uh, at least for all the other people in my head. Uh, all right. Let
And
me.
while Edward's bringing that up, just a reminder, folks, in the chat, very soon you will see a couple links posted, two customer support links, and one link where you will be entitled to get $1,000 discount off the 3-year license because you are a subscriber to CryptoKC. That's pre-negotiated. And if you go to GoBabyTrade.com right now, you'll see the price is $44.99. So you get 1,000 off that. And with that, I'm going to silence my phone so you don't hear that again.
Me too. Ditto. Ditto. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. For the repeat offenders, welcome back. We love you guys. We appreciate our tribe and community is growing. As I said, we're here for many more things to provide value to you outside of what you see today. We're a growing community. Again, you have a hand in molding it. What is of value? Give us ideas. If, as I posted today in the community, if we use your idea, we'll give you a prize. We won't tell you what that is. Could be a mansion in the sky, could be crypto, could be a thank you from all of us. But my encouragement to participate. So expectations, if you haven't been here, so this is what you can expect. You can expect a transformation. That's the key word that I'm drawing everybody's attention to, and that you have an opportunity to be, and you're here, right place, right time. You're going to see something that does not exist, has not existed before. As a matter of fact, everybody on the planet, when Mr. Barsano set out to do this, said it couldn't be done. Well, it got done in 2001 for the stock market, and then for the crypto market in 2021. It's an amazing, amazing platform. If you ever wanted to automate part of your financial life, this is the way to do it. Be skeptical. Do your research. We're going to provide you factual information and an overload of features. You're going to get a chance to see what the inside of the machine looks like before you decide to invest or in the platform or not. This is for informational purposes only, of which I've got a slide with all kinds of red letters on it following this. We're here to serve you. That's the
Ed,
main reason.
Ed, I'm already making my first note.
Very good. Very good. Have you upgraded from your Apple iPad 1?
No, I still have my Apple iPad 1.
All right, very good. You can see a system that literally automates 100% automates crypto trading. You don't have to know how to trade. You don't have to spell trade. You don't have to spell crypto. It literally puts an automatic system in place that is a automated crypto trading and money management platform. The money management platform, pay attention to that because we're going to talk about it a lot. That is the magic sauce of this platform. Mr. Barsano will elaborate. You're going to get a chance to see what I call the $1 billion report because it identifies, without any research on your part, again, Ed and his team do that, that identifies optimal trading opportunities, essentially showing you which coins are most volatile in the market. Why is that important? Because this is the only system that allows you to take advantage of that volatility. As a matter of fact, another little thing that I say is that this platform literally eats volatility. The more volatile, the more free money it takes. You're going to see a live demonstration from me and a simulation account that I created just a little over 6 months ago. You're going to see real live platforms and system of the system from Mr. Barsano. And then we're going to point out some factual information, and I'll drop a little bit here. Is that in almost 4 years, it'll be 4 years in December, that Mr. Barsano lit his traders up. The software was released in 2021 in April, but as far as full-blown go get it, set it and forget it, money in your sleep, December 19th is the marker. You're going to understand why in a 90% down market, 90%, that this has produced over not even 4 years, almost 4 years. Let's just say 4 years, almost 5x what Mr. Barsano started with, 5x in a 90% down market. If you don't scratch your head and go, how could that be possible? Or that can't be true. Watch, we're going to show you facts. It is true. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to my co-host, Attila Heveshi, and we'll get going.
You want to pull up the red disclosure?
Thank you so much for that reminder. I got so excited about sharing. Bear with me. All right. There we go. Let me make it bigger for the hearing impaired. Oops. Yeah, another series of bad jokes. Nobody paid for my bad jokes today. They're free. So again, educational, informational purposes only. Pay close attention. We're not here for you to go, well, you said. Well, we did say, but we're not licensed or certified financial, investment, tax, or legal advisors. We in the not too distant future, we will be able to provide you resources that are going to be in our ecosystem that touch on those things. But for now, no. We're not licensed. The results are not guaranteed. I did mention to you that we're going to show you some factual results, things that actually happened, not made up, not make believe, not we think it's going to be, not prognostication, facts. You're gonna see strategies, case studies. We're going to talk about examples. Take them for what they are, as my co-host says. DYOR, do your own research. We're going to provide you so many access points to do your own research. And then in the chat, we're leaving the chat open for a reason. Normally we just leave it open for introductions, but we now leave it open because there are so many people that have been that thankfully have joined the community, that have been blessed by what Mr. Barsano has created, and often share their stories. And there's many times we've got brand new people that come in and go, that can't be true. Don't believe us, believe the community. We are here again to present things factually to you, but you're here at your own risk. Everything's as is, but you'll have a complete understanding when you leave here of what that looks like and what benefit it is to you. Now, if you have questions along the way, don't hold them. Just put them in the Q&A. Please do not put them in the chat, because we don't have anybody other than us monitoring the chat, and we don't want to miss your very important questions. So just put them in the Q&A, and then we'll comment as well. But we're here. We appreciate you. We're going to provide you direct access to all of us, not by phone number, not by address, but you can reach out to us via email, through the community that I talked about. And then we're going to share all kinds of things that are of benefit to you. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate you being here. Mr. Heveshi, take it away.
Thank you, Edward. My name is Attila Heveshi, and I am in Florida. And my background is mainly financial all these years, but I don't want to bore you with the details. But I will tell you that in 2020, fortunately for me, I was in the right place at the right time. And I decided on purpose, because of the fact that I missed out totally on the internet revolution, I decided proactively and on purpose to study all I can and learn as much as I could about this digital money revolution, and, which includes a lot of things, mainly decentralized finance, blockchain, crypto, AI, all that. And I'm not an uber expert, but I know a lot more than the average person walking the streets. I know what's happened, but most importantly, I know what's coming. And I know the train has left the station long ago. It's just been a tough journey, because when a new nascent industry comes in and disrupts a current industry, the way that this is disrupting traditional finance, TradFi, there's a lot of people that want to keep the old system for obvious reasons. So at first, there's a lot of disruption to change in something like this, but not for long. It's changing behind the scenes. The really great news is that right now, as we speak, the big boys, the big institutions have finally figured out that if we ignore this any longer, we're going to miss it, and we got to either participate or be left behind. That's literally where the big boys are at right now in boardrooms. Like they're talking to each other saying, well, everybody else is doing this. Why aren't we? That's literally happening in boardrooms across the world. It's crazy. But so what happened was my job here today is just to tell you a little story of how it is that I met Mr. Barsano, and as a result, all of us are here today, and that's a very fortunate thing. So Mr. Barsano, after the Navy, got out and was hired by Bill Gates at Microsoft, one of the first 200-300 people to get hired there, and had a very stellar career as a programmer. And then he retired at the young age of 39, was bored to death, and he fortunately for all of us, he lost his shirt in the 2000 stock market crash. Now, why do I say fortunately? Because that ticked him
Because you
off.
have no respect for me losing all that money. That's why you say fortunately.
Yeah.
Without getting your ass kicked, we wouldn't be here.
Thanks.
That's a good one, Ed. I got to remember that one. You're like Rodney Dangerfield. I can't get no respect. Anyway, so because of that loss, Mr. Barsano said, well, listen, they're screwing with the wrong guy. I'm gonna proceed to take my programming prowess and develop for the masses, for the average Tom, Dick, and Harry and Sally, a robotic autonomous stock market trader. So people don't have to put up with what I just put up with. Like he felt like he was robbed. So, which he was. And basically,
we all were
he
robbed.
developed, a lot of people were robbed. He developed this in 2000, launched it in 2001. And then I met him in 2012 because a friend of mine said to me, Attila, how'd you like to make money in the stock market but not have to do anything? And I always wanted to make money in the stock market, but I'm not a technical guy. I'm a big picture sentiment guy. I don't have the patience to sit down like most people and learn how to trade. But to be able to benefit from it would be wonderful. So I said to my friend, what are you talking about? How is that even possible? He says, well, I met a guy. You got to meet this gentleman. So he introduced me to Ed. We spoke, and I don't think we were more than 20, 25 minutes into the conversation where I said, hey, I get what you're saying. This is incredible. Let's go. I bought the license and I ran that trader successfully. Now, I must say, back then it was a little cumbersome because it took 60 to 90 minutes to download a software. Not anymore, but back then it was. But once that happened, get this, on Monday morning at 9:30 when the markets opened, it turned itself on, the software did. It traded for you all day long, taking profits, buying more positions when the market went down. And then at 4 o'clock, it shut itself down automatically. It did this 100% unattended, meaning you didn't have to interact with it at all. And that was remarkable, folks. That's remarkable today. Back in 2012, it was even more remarkable. And when Ed Barsano launched this in 2001, it was extremely remarkable. So basically what happened was, for me, life got in the way. I got divorced in 16. I got too busy, and then I lost touch with Ed. But since I'm full-time in blockchain, DeFi, and crypto since September 2020, a year and a half, little more than a year and a half ago, I'm sitting at my desk and I'm a cash flow guy. I love cash flow. And I said, how do I keep my crypto earning more crypto in a safe and secure fashion? Because I was a hodler back then and still am. So I had positions, but I wanted cash flow. I love cash flow. So it took me a day.
Excuse me, what is cash flow?
Cash flow is GoBabyTrade. Or what it provides. Well, cash is king, Ed, is what I was always told, but I think that's out the window. Cash flow is king now because if you have enough money coming into the household, that's a good month. If there's not enough cash flow coming in, that's not such a good month. So it's a continuous flow of cash that you could utilize for whatever you wish.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's GoBabyTrade.
Yes, sir. And so it took me a full day, but I remembered my friend Ed, and I said, oh my gosh, I'll bet somewhere in the last 3 to 4 years, Mr. Barsano has developed a trader for the crypto market. I still had his phone number in my phone. I called him, I tracked him down. We spoke for 3 hours, and he confirmed my main hunch. He said, yes, Attila, I launched this in April of 21, and it's light years ahead of the stock trader. And I said, how come? And he gave me 4 compelling reasons. Now, this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, folks. So listen to these 4 reasons. Number one, he said, stocks trade 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto market 24/7. That's a big advantage. It really is. Because if you bought the stock trader today, you could sell. Mr. Barsano started from scratch when he built the crypto trader, and he still has the new version, the web-based version of the stock trader available. So if you were to buy that stock trader and it was 6 p.m. and you went to load your trader with X whatever stock you wanted the trader to trade, guess what it would say? Market closed. You wouldn't be able to get in until 9:30 the next morning. So we're pretty spoiled with the
Excuse
crypto
me,
market.
not
Yes, sir.
unless, not if the next morning is a Saturday.
And that's
True.
right. And
And
that's
then,
Or
only
there,
Sunday.
5 days a
and
week.
then, or Sunday, and then Monday happens to be a holiday. You know, sometimes I'm helping people on a Friday with their stock trader, and I'm like, this is miserable. And then Monday happened to be a holiday. I'm like, dude, you're not even going to be able to trade until for 4 days, man.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And let me piggyback on that and say something. If all of you are not, if anybody's not aware, one of the biggest movements right now, and it will be for many, 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 many years to come, is the tokenization and fractionalization of every single asset class on Earth. And when they start very soon with the stock market, which they've almost started to do already, guess what? They're not going to 24/7. They're going to 24/5. They got to work it in easy. Because right now the stock market's 9:30 to 4. It's going to be 24 hours, but it still won't be Saturday or Sunday. Eventually they'll work that in, but they don't want to shock the system. Okay. So that's a good point, Ed.
They spent so many years stealing from us. Why would they shock it?
Yeah, right. A good point. So anyway, the bottom line is the second thing that Ed said was, listen, it's not downloadable software anymore. It's web-based. And I didn't know exactly what that meant. Again, I'm not a technical guy. I said, what does that mean? He said, I could have you connected to your own Coinbase or Kraken account in less than 10 minutes live, trading live. I said, man, that's incredible. Let's do it. I bought the license on the spot. And in 8.5 minutes, I was connected to Coinbase trading live with just under 10 grand. Now, folks, that blew my mind because I remember the old days. It was nothing like that. Number three, he said, Attila, basically what I've done is I have connected this through API to your Kraken or Coinbase account. So you and only you control your crypto. Now, when he said those words to me, a light bulb went off, and I said, this is the biggest blessing to the average person out there, because the biggest issue in the last 10 years has been rug pulls and scams where you don't control your crypto, you lose it. Here, you and only you control your crypto at your own Kraken or your own Coinbase account. That's a biggie, folks. Ed Barsano's tool is just that. It's a tool. It instructs the exchange when and how much, what size lots crypto to buy for each coin that's being traded. That's it. The software doesn't hold your money. That's at your exchange. So when I heard that, I realized what a blessing we had, and I said, Ed, we got to get the word out to the world on this. So we are doing that, and as a result, Edward and I, and had a chance to meet with Crypto Casey almost 2 years ago, and here we all are. Now, last thing I'll say. As we go through this, keep 3 things in mind. The first thing, I would like everybody to get ready to type something into your chat. Does everybody agree that it's very important to have, when you're trading anything, whether it's Forex, precious metals, crypto, anything on planet Earth, would you agree that it's very advantageous to have some kind of an edge? Some kind of an edge. Just hit yes or no. Let's see.
Absolutely, yes.
Let's see. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. We're getting feedback. Okay, so guess what? This is not an edge. This is light years ahead of an edge. This is a major advantage because everything is done for you automatically. So it's way, way beyond an edge. It's like like galaxies ahead of an edge. That's number one. Number two, when we say set it and forget it, please take that literally. There's no screen time. Once you go live, which is less than 10 minutes, and you're connected to your exchange, literally, there's nothing of you required. You could go away for 2 months, not have internet, not have your phone, not have a computer. It's still trading and making money for you and buying more positions for you on Ed Barsano's servers. That's never been seen by the average person before, with a 25-year track record, by the way. But the last thing is the most, in my opinion, mind-blowing thing. Reality. Understand what this man we're about to introduce has brought forth to the world. Without anybody being an accredited investor, without anybody knowing anything about trading, without anybody knowing anything about crypto, you hardly have to know anything about computers. You could now automate a part of your financial life and make money while you sleep and while you're awake, obviously. That's never been seen before for the average person. Wall Street's had it for years, and the uber wealthy have found a way to plug into that over the years. But for the average person to plug and play and have that cash flow, never been seen with this kind of certainty. You can't lose here, and you'll understand why at the end of the next couple hours. So with that, we're about to introduce our special guest. But Edward, you made an adjustment 7 months ago to your trader. Could you show what happened to you in your paper trading account? Which, by the way, you don't even have to say it. I'll tell folks, what he's about to show you is a paper trading account, and he made an adjustment 7 months ago. But the paper trading account, the trader doesn't know. There's no difference between paper trading and live trading. The results are the same. The only difference is after it takes the profit, it doesn't send it to your exchange, but the results are the same. So go ahead, Edward. I'm done. You want to share your screen?
Indeed, but let me make a comment first, as promised.
Sure.
For the new folks.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you caught it in the chat or whether you were mesmerized by Attila's message, but I want to shout out to Natalie. Natalie says, "Place to be, everybody. This is the real deal. I've had mine for over a year and have doubled my initial investment. Great place to have your money work for you." Thank you, Natalie.
Nice.
That is a great testimonial. Even if it wasn't doubling your money, what if it made 30 or 40 or 50%? Where are you going to get that sort of return? I don't know. I'll be 61 in a couple of weeks, and I've never seen anything like it.
While Edward's bringing that up, let me also say, you have to understand, folks, this is a lifetime trader. We know it works. This is not at all, if you're new here, this is not at all a situation of will it work, can it work, does it work? It's been working 25 years. There's so many satisfied customers, and with great confidence, we could say the only people that are not excited about this or maybe critical of it are the ones that don't own the license.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lifetime trader. It's not something, oh, I'll buy this license for 3 years and then move on to something else. Well, if you double or triple your money in 3 years, why would you not renew your license? I'll accept any logical answer. Come on now.
And I'll tack onto the back of that. You're going to see something. Again, it's not guaranteed results, but based on a 90% plus down market, it is literally making money. If I asked you, and great idea to engage the audience, we appreciate that, and we appreciate the feedback. I'm going to ask you one more time to do that. If I said to you, give me $1, and in 3 years, I'll give you $3. How many dollars would you give me? Put your answer in the chat, and what I'll do is I'll share. And if it's right, thank you, Joseph. I was just going to comment. All of them All of it, more than I have. Excellent, excellent. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Julian. All right, let me show you my experiment, and just to lay the groundwork, to lay the scene. This was to prove to myself the value of this, not as if I didn't know what the value was already. Because let me give you a little testimony of my own. As a client using this software has literally done something that no one else has been able to do on planet Earth for me and my family. Would you agree that there are plenty of opportunities to make money, obviously, generally, mostly with a lot of risk, which this mitigates and eliminates. But would you agree that we can all make money? The answer is yes. What can't we make more of?
Time.
Time. Let me tell you, this is not to be braggadocious, but what this has done for me just in the past year. My family got an opportunity to travel the world for 5 months this year, and it's not even over yet. All paid for by Mr. Barsano. Not directly, but by what the trader has made for us passively. If that doesn't excite you about being able to buy more time, to spend time with your children, I have 3. My youngest is going to be 11 next month. To spend more time with your wife or your husband or your significant other, if that's not important, then your priorities are probably misaligned. My point being, this is the only opportunity that I've seen to make true passive income with little or no risk and a very, very small investment. So you're seeing my what's considered paper trader. It's a paper trading. It does say paper trading, but again, as Attila suggested, the machine doesn't know the difference. This is real money to the machine. So I mentioned in the overview and the expectations that about 8 months ago, 9 months ago now, Mr. Barsano and his team came out with what I call the $1 billion report. It's really called the high trade count, and Mr. Barsano will go into that a little bit later when we turn the reins over to him. But I call it a $1 billion report because you don't have to do anything. You can literally find the most volatile coins, which means it shows you a year look back of how many profitable trades by the most volatile coins. And why do I say profitable? I say profitable because, catch this, write this down. This platform has been created and programmed to never, never, never sell at a loss. It collects inventory, puts it on the shelf, sells at a higher price, buys it low and sells it high automatically.
Sounds like a 7-Eleven.
Sounds like a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar, without the chance of being robbed, without having to pay all the insurance and all the employees and the people that don't show up. Literally, that would cost you $1 million for that headache, at least. At least. This platform performs better and percentage-wise makes more money, eliminates the risk, and you have no headaches other than to go live your life. Let's give you a quick test drive. I picked these top 4 coins. Zora was an experiment. It's still got some inventory. As soon as it sells all of its positions profitably, I'm going to literally take that off so I don't have to explain why it's there. But the reason why it's there is because it wasn't in the $1 billion report, and one of our audience members asked, "Hey, I really like Zora. Why don't I see it?" Well, for it to be on the $1 billion report, it has to have been trading for a year, and it wasn't. So here it is. It will go away. But with Pepe, Ando, and Bonk, I picked as some of the top performers out of the top 10 of the listed by volatility and by profitable trades in the $1 billion report. And I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to do any research. I'm just going to let Ed's people and the power of the tools that were created do it for me. So here you go. Started the account with $100,000. The market, since I started this little bit over 6 months ago. The market has been down another 50%. But you don't see 50 here, you see 100. Profits taken today, none. The market's kind of flattened down, as you can see by today's performance. 30 days, actually very, very low numbers because the market has been crushed by the big boys that Attila started to explain. But in depth, the reason why is because the institutional, and you heard me talk about this before, but if not, let me back up 2 steps and tell you that we are in a very, very, very important time in history because even 5 years ago, if you said crypto to somebody, somebody said, "Oh, what illegal business are you trading in?" Now, the current administration, starting with this year, what do you hear? You hear that we are going to an asset-based economy from a debt-based economy, or I like to call it the 4-letter word, scam economy, that is keeping you broke, and a debt-based economy, and shifting that tide. Now, what do you hear? Crypto is no longer a scam. It's not only no longer a scam, but regulations and litigation, not litigation, but regulations in the market are being put in place so that the rug pulls that Attila talked about don't exist anymore, or that's mitigated. But you're in a position where you can start to accumulate wealth in so many ways in a asset-based, meaning a growing asset class, growing inventory, growing your investment. So many ways to do so. This is the cherry on top. You can do it with your eyes closed, period.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
Edward,
Yes, sir.
do me a favor. Usually we don't do this early, but I think it's appropriate and apropos right now to do it. James L.E. is asking a question. Since you have your paper trader account, and Ed, you could show this as well. He says, when we experience significant market dips like the one a couple weeks ago, October 9th, it was actually the 10th, James, how will traders respond? Meaning, how will GoBabyTrade respond? So do you mind sharing your account?
Yes, if you were this the last 2 weeks, you'll see. As a matter of fact, we've got Crypto Casey reached out to us. We've got a couple of other influencers that reached out to us that said, if I wasn't a believer before, I am now, because all the people that own the trader made money when most of the people lost between 30 and 60% of their holdings. So let me scroll down. Let me get to the point where I can.
Why you get there, Mr. Barsano so appropriately says that this trader punishes the market when it goes down, and you're going to see some serious punishment here.
Yeah, if you weren't a believer, volatility started to get a little squirrely on the 7th. It was buying all this inventory. Then all of a sudden on the 9th, it was actually mid-afternoon. There was kind of a inkling of there was something weird going on in the market, but then look what happened. On the 10th, when it was straight down, what do you see? Everything you see in bold here is on the 10th when the bottom was dropping out. What was the trader doing? Making money. Making money. Explain that to me. I can't even explain it other than the brilliance of what Mr. Barsano has created. So let's go a little further. So all the way through the morning, look at the time date stamps, starting at, on the 10th, starting at 8 o'clock.
8:01.
8:01, 8:01, 8:19, 8:42, 9:27, 10:26. Sold, profit. Look what happened. An hour later. Buy, because the market was dropping. Later on the 10th, when everybody was going into their 7-Eleven, and you'll get this pun later, and buying all the iodine and Band-Aids because they were bleeding out from what happened that day, what was the trader doing? Selling at a profit, then buying inventory back, then selling at a profit, buying inventory. People were crying in their soup on the 11th, and so on and so forth. The most volatile single day in the market, what did the trader do? When everybody else was losing, what did it do? Made money. So I don't know what to tell you.
I told you nothing. You can't say anything.
Yeah, I told you we deliver facts. That's these are time date stamps. And oh, by the way, I didn't pay attention to any of it. I just knew that it was going to make money, and it did.
Okay, well,
So
Ed Barsano is going to give us up for adoption if we don't introduce him.
well, let me make one more point, and
Yeah.
I won't go through the rest of it, and then Mr. Barsano will cover it. So in the a little bit over 6 months, in my sleep, this trader has taken $45,000 profit. That's almost 50% on, that's over 100% on an annualized basis. And it hasn't even deployed all of its money yet. So with that,
can I say something about your screen there?
And indeed,
You're open that this third column from the right is how much the market dropped.
1, 2, 3. This
from
one.
the right. Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
from the right. Got it. Okay.
So your open positions, the market's been crashing. And if you're a buy and holder in that, you're just down that much. I mean, you're down like, what is that? 14, 9, 20, 30, 40, about 50 grand. That's where millions of people are over the last 6 months. Their account is literally cut in half in value. Most people out there are miserable. They're just miserable. They hate crypto. They think you're a scammer if you even mention crypto. And it's because they don't know how to trade the market. They don't have an auto trader. They don't have GoBabyTrade. But GoBabyTrade mitigates that drop with the closed positions, the next column over. We keep taking money. That's the secret to the market. So we're battling it out. The market wants to keep going lower, but we keep taking profits and we keep holding it up. Wait till the market can't go lower and the market starts turning and starts heading up, and all this negative inventory goes away and moves over into the closed positions, and then watch this double up. This is where you start getting your 100% returns in the market.
Right. All of these positions that you see here, everything you see in parentheses, each one represents the number of lots of that particular coin. So there's lots of inventory in our 7-Eleven.
That's a well-seasoned auto trader, by the way. You have 20 lots of Bonk, 13 lots of Ondo, 18 lots of Pepe. Most people don't keep track of all the buying and the selling and all that, the details that the auto trader keeps track of. So it makes sure that anything it sells is profitable. It never sells at a loss. We have the market trapped, and there's nothing they can do to stop us.
Yep. Ladies
so I'll
and
let
gentlemen,
you go on.
No, I give you, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ed Barsano. The floor is yours. I was about to introduce you anyway, so you might as well. You might as well
jump on in.
I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to jump in.
We love you.
So as you can see, I took a page full of notes. You see, I don't come here with a presentation. I have nothing. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just wait for them to say stuff, and then I fix all the stuff, the mistakes they were making.
And then you can't wait to tell Attila he's wrong.
The first thing I heard is Attila said that we spoke for 3 hours. Anybody that I've ever talked to knows that that's true. Because we do talk a long time. And and that's not counting the talk about the vaccines and the borders and all that stuff. There's a lot to talk about there too. I love to talk about all of it. I'm retired. I'm bored to death. So I really enjoy talking about it. The other thing is, the next item on my list is when Ed was showing his skeptical, when Edward was talking about be skeptical, or maybe it was Attila, the problem with society, in my opinion, is they're overly skeptical. They're overthinking everything, and they already have a preconceived notion, and so they're just gonna skepticize themselves right out of it because they already think that it's a scam. And I feel bad for them because I've been doing this 25 years. I don't know how to fix that.
You can't.
You
You
know,
can't. People have been programmed for 150 years to think that everything that somebody says is it, and it's backed up by Attila talked about the scams and rug pulls, but that's why I said, don't
yeah,
believe us. Believe the data. Believe the people that actually own it.
right. And I haven't figured out how to, you've heard the expression, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And
Right.
you never think about those expressions like that as as you're growing up. And then until you live it. And then you go, wow,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you've already lost. That's why, and I figured out what the whales are doing, what's going on. I don't know if some of you may not be old enough to remember when the Hunt brothers tried to corner the
Silver
silver
market.
market,
Right.
and there was too much silver out there. They couldn't do it. They tried. They gave it a good shot, but they couldn't do it. And so, but the whales are actually trying to corner the crypto market, which is the craziest thing I ever saw. They're actually trying to corner it, and they're being successful. That's what's tripping me out, is it's actually working. Because I've heard the stat, 98% of society, or only 8% of Americans are even know what a crypto is. And then of them, how many are trading properly? They're the ones that are trading, they're doing it all wrong. And then the coins are going lower and lower and lower. What happens when the prices are going down 90% down? And they've already done that. The coins have already dropped 90% in the last 4 years, which is crazy. That's a crazy bottom. And I'm watching the gameplay. I see what they're doing, and I'm like, it's working. Because I get the emails from clients that are telling me, should I stop my auto trader from buying more at these low prices? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. I mean, these coins, the biggest money you're going to make is what you're buying at the bottom. The Trump Family Foundation, they're sitting on $7 billion worth of crypto. And he didn't buy it. Here's my prop. I got a big long bottle here, my smart water bottle. Um, he He didn't buy that $7 billion of crypto at the bottom. He bought it all the way down while it was going down. That's the beauty. The same thing we're doing. We're buying it while it's going down. The difference is while it's wiggling, we keep taking profits. That's where the 100% profits come in, even though the coin's on a downtrend. And you saw it in Edward's Trader there. That's what I was showing you. Even though the coin is down, in some of his coins are down 19,000, he's taking 19,000 in profits. So he's offsetting that drop. So he's always going to be able to be in the game. It doesn't matter where the price goes. And that's a misconception that a lot of people have, is they think coins have to go up to win. And the only reason they think that is because they're all in at the top. When a regular person buys a coin, what is he thinking? Think to yourself. If you ever go in and buy a coin manually, you're thinking it's going to go up. But the auto trader is thinking that it's going to drop 90%. The auto trader is planning for the drop. The auto trader is planning for how to punish the market for going down there. It says, you want to go down there, I'm going to take advantage of you. Many of you heard me say it. I'm the opposite of Hillary Clinton. She says, when they go low, I go high. I go baloney. When they go low, I go low. You want to go low, I'll go out. I'm going to follow that price wherever it goes and just keep taking money. And no matter where it goes, they got to keep paying me. It's almost, when you really look at this, I mean, it's just simply a money machine, and it's just going to keep pumping out money. And there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. It's not violating any laws, even though it's just pumping out money. You wouldn't even think that it's violating laws if it was just a well pumping water, right? But if it's money, you right away got to be thinking. I heard one guy say that in an audience I was presenting to. When I actually showed him. Do you mind if I share my screen?
Just gave you
No.
shareability.
Oh, thank you. I was demonstrating and I was talking about water. And I said, if the bucket, now some of you have seen this before. I mean, I drew this on a whiteboard. They had a whiteboard over where I was presenting to 80 people on, I was teaching an AI trading class or an AI development class. And so I had 80 people, programmers in the room. And I said, so I quickly drew a picture of a bucket and a well. It wasn't as pretty as this, but you can get the picture. And I said, if the bucket goes all the way down and gets the water, and then goes all the way back up and dumps it out, and keeps doing that repeatedly for the rest of your life, how much water can it pump? I said, if it goes all the way down, gets the water, goes all the way back up, and dumps it out. I like to give demonstrations like this because I want you to think and understand it. If you get this, then you'll understand the auto trader. And people started throwing out numbers like 1,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000 gallons, 1,000,000,000,000 gallons. I said, perfect. Of course, it's going to keep pumping water forever. It's going to pump out millions or billions of gallons of water. However, it can't go halfway down and go back up because it'll go back up with an empty bucket. It's got to go to the bottom, and then it has to go all the way back up. And they still say it will pump out millions of dollars. I mean, not dollars, but water. Billions of gallons of water. I said, okay, well, how about if it's the crypto market and it only has to go down a little and buy, and up a little and sell, and down a little and buy, and up a little and sell. And if it goes further down, so you're holding that one. Just hang on to that one. Don't even worry about it. The money's down here. We're going to keep pumping here forever. Forever. We're easily going to make up for that one that's down. Don't even worry about it. Just like this one here. It went further down. Fine. The action's down here. Wherever the action is, I'm going to keep taking money. And there's nothing, it's just going to, this money's going to add up. It even went down further. Fine. I'm holding that one. I'm holding that one. I'm holding that one. And now I'm trading down here. But look what happens when it goes up there. I end up selling all those off again. I sell them off anyways. So it doesn't matter where I'll sell these losers off later. In the meantime, wherever the action is, that's where I am. So then I said to the audience, I said, how much money will that pump if it just keeps pumping forever? And you can't turn it off. It's just going to keep pumping money. And the room went silent. So 80 people couldn't even think of something to say. And then one guy, it was vintage. It was so cool. I could just hear, he goes, there's no way that could be real. I love it. You gotta love it. I mean, I still remember it. It was just so cool. There's no way that could be real. Why not? Why can't it be real? He couldn't explain to me why not. And the only thing another person said is, well, you'll run out of money. I said, no, you won't. The auto trader makes sure that you never run out of money. When it starts out, when it buys the coin, you've already won because it already reserves enough money of your account to take that coin all the way to the bottom. So you don't even care where it goes. As long as you always have money, then you can always trade. And that's the key. Nobody else does money management. That's their problem. It's like my brother, a perfect example. He used to have an arcade. That's where you play games. Kids put quarters in. This is many years ago. He had an arcade right next to a movie theater. So can you imagine? When the movie's not playing, the kids were in the arcade playing the games. But what was my brother doing? He didn't have money sense. Every day he would open up the machines and take out all the quarters and spend it. So what do you think happened at the end of the month when he didn't have money to pay the rent or pay the electricity? He's out of business. It's like you got to reserve enough money to make sure you can stay in business. We all do it. It's called money management. It's called budgeting. We all do that. I mean, many years ago, I used to have one of those, what are they called? It had all the lines on it for
Sheet.
what's that?
Spreadsheet?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like Excel, but it was before Excel. You know, when I first got married, and I wasn't making a lot of money, so I had all my expenses listed down and how much I was spending each month on each item. And then add it up, and I could say, this is how much money I need to live each month. And I could literally see where I was heading based on how much my rent was and these expenses. And then you figure out how much money do I have left over to save up if I want to eventually go to Disneyland in a year. You know, I mean, I don't live like that anymore, but I mean, it's called budgeting. It's something we've all done, and we all do it. So there's nothing unusual here. We're just budgeting. We're just doing the same stuff everybody does that we've all been doing our whole life. And you couldn't be in business if you're running a 7-Eleven. You can't just sell all the inventory and then not have any money to put more inventory on the shelf. Otherwise you're out of business. That's just the way it works. So why with the crypto market, why is it different? Why do people treat it differently? They start acting like they're in Vegas. They start gambling. And they when they buy, they're throwing all their money in and just and praying that the coin goes up. But then in the last year, what did it do? The coins dropped down 90%. Instead of going up, they went down. However, they wiggled while they were going down. And we just kept taking. And those profits add up. So the next thing is I wrote down here about the be skeptical is you're over skeptical. People are over skeptical. It's because they're not looking at just the common sense aspect of it. And sometimes you just have to trust a little bit. And that's dangerous because there's a lot of corruption out there. So I talked about the manual expectation versus the robotic trader expectation. When you're manually trading, you're thinking it's going to go up. You're planning on it going up. But the robotic trader is actually planning on it going down. Making money is easy. It goes up, you made money. What are you thinking about? It's what do you do when it's going the wrong way? That's where you have to have your act together. And the auto trader, after 25 years, has its act together. And that's what's nice about programming. Anytime I see something wrong in the market, I program a rule to prevent that from happening again. Well, you can't rob me that way again because I've added that rule to the trader. And the trader has like over 50 rules built in. And really, those rules are all to counter criminal activity by the whales, by the market. The market is geared, it's designed to rob you. I hate to say it. And people don't know that, and they're in denial. People are actually in denial that, there can't be anything corrupt about what's going on. Just you floating a limit order, a simple limit order, and those of you know what a limit order is, where you place an order at the broker and say, I want to sell this coin if the price goes to this point up here. Well, you don't know it, but all the professional traders, that's called the level 2 screen. And the professional traders they live and die by looking at that order. And what that means is the price starts to approach your target where you want to get out, and then you notice it won't go to it. How many times in your life have you seen that? Where it's trying to go to it and it won't, and then it bounces down, then it tries to go again and it won't, and it goes down and it won't, and then eventually it starts heading down and you didn't even sell at that point. Well, that's because the professional traders are buying and selling right under you because you put that out there. Think of the simplicity of it, of if you were playing that same game with like a 5-year-old. Here's a very simple example, very simple. I tell the little child, which hand has the penny? They point at that hand. I say, nope, and I show them the penny in the other hand. Then next time, they point at the other hand, and I show them the penny in the opposite hand. I go, nope. really, I have 2 pennies, right? But they don't know that. And you see how you can do that to a child. And unfortunately, that's what they're actually doing in the stock market and the crypto market against the public. Adults, people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s are falling for all this trash behavior by the institutions and the professional traders out there. They're robbing everybody blind. And I got robbed in the 2000 crash, granted. But as soon as they did that, I said, well, you know what? I'm not 6 years old. You picked on the wrong person. I'm going to punish you for that. I'm going to automate this market, and I'm going to make sure that that criminal activity that you did in 2000 will never ever happen again. And then once I started automating the market, I started stacking more rules on. Well, there's more criminal activity. I'm going to stop that. Oh, there's another criminal behavior. Stop that. Now, after 25 years, I stopped all the criminal behavior, and these auto traders now, I've turned the tables on them. Now it's like, just keep giving me money for life, baby. Now I'm gonna give auto traders to millions of people. Now there's a challenge though, because millions of people are just simply brainwashed. They don't get it, and they treat the market like they're in Vegas. And that's a problem for them. I feel bad for society, I really do. But it's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing. I will run my auto traders till I die. And it's a perfect hobby for a programmer that loves programming. I love conquering the market. I love doing what people say can't be done. And no matter how many of you would love that. You know that you're probably a lot like me, a lot of you. That when somebody says something can't be done and you know it can be done, then you do it, right? And anyways, so the next item I wrote on here is why do you know, you said do your own research. I think that's very dangerous because what is the research? I don't understand what the research is. There's too many scams out there. If somebody could explain that, you have a chat, maybe.
Well, let me clarify. Do your own research with the tools that we give you that are free to do your own research factually that are
For
in
example,
GoBabyTrade.
for example, on your website, you've got the research people can do in the top 50 traders. You've got the highest trade count. You've got 15 videos, things like that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you
Right.
for clarifying that.
You mean analyze this product?
That is correct. You
Because
provide billions of dollars worth of information to people. Just use it.
right. I've had people say, "Hey, can you look at this other bot out there? This is hardly a bot. This is millions of lines of code, multiple programs running, and I keep enhancing it, making it better and better and better and smarter, and and the infrastructure is a multi-million-dollar infrastructure of racks of servers and multiple data feeds and failover clusters and load balancers and so much code that I've written to backups and all that. Nobody else has that because they haven't been doing it for 25 years, living and breathing it. Where it's you notice sometimes we get these messages like they'll say Amazon cloud or Amazon services went down or whatever, and and these big multi-billion-dollar companies are down because of it. And then people send me email and say, how did it affect you? I don't use any of them. I wrote all the stuff myself, everything. I don't use any of those other people's services because I can't trust it. Because what happens when it does go down? Because I'm still amazed. I'll never get over it when this company in Pennsylvania, the oil company, got that $50 million ransom. Remember that when their servers got attacked? And then it knocked out oil for the whole East Coast. And I'm like, you don't have backups? I mean, I'm dumbfounded. You got a multi-trillion-dollar business and you don't have backups? I got backups coming out of my ears. I got so many backups every hour. All these backups I'm doing, backups of backups. You can't hurt me no matter what, even if you tried to give me a ransom attack. See, you hit one server and it doesn't even mean anything to me. Servers go down just like light bulbs go out. It doesn't even mean anything. Another server will just pick up the slack of whatever that server was doing. It's again, not rocket science. I don't know what they're doing. I don't understand it. And then I have to stop and think to myself, did they deliberately was it really a ransom attack, or was it really a deliberate thing, maybe internal, to stop oil from flowing for some reason? Maybe to jack the price of oil? I don't know. Somehow there's gameplay going on, because I can't imagine that they didn't have backups. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. A few servers go down and you're out of business? I don't get it. Anyways, and then, another person said, look at this other bot, and I looked at it, and the first thing I saw on the screen, it said, we have 50 strategies you can pick from. Well, how many of you, answer this, would be able to go to and look at 50 strategies and find the one that makes money? Because I got one. I don't know where they're getting 50. I mean, how do you have 50 different strategies? I don't get it, unless it's just more BS. And that's to me, that's the research. Steer clear of that kind of stuff.
Ed, can you talk about the AI, how you're really a 25-year-old adult going up against a 1 or 2-year-old baby infant?
Sure. Well, AI is neural networks, pattern recognition. Some of you may have heard these terms through the years. And I've been doing AI since '89, since I started at Microsoft. And well, I was at Microsoft 2 years already, but I mean, since I was at Microsoft, they sent me to a class for that. And AI came out in 1955, but you would have needed a mainframe to use it. So I always added AI to my traders all the way since 2001. It's beautiful pattern recognition. Instead of me having to sit in front of 6 screens looking at all these indicators, or 27 screens, all the technical indicators, I moved all that stuff to the AI. When you talk about AI, people say I have an AI trader and that kind of stuff. I never brag about AI. AI is not the star of the dish. AI is a nice add-on. Those of you who know about cooking shows, they open up the basket and they pull out some ingredients and they say, these pickled pig's feet have to be the star of the dish. That kind of stuff. Some weird ingredient, right? Well, AI is not the star of the dish. The robotic trader is the star of the dish. And the robotic trader is not AI. They call it an AI trader, but the trader is a robotic trader. It's software. But then the AI is a separate, it's kind of like two-factor authentication. You don't look at the two-factor authentication until you need it. And then when you need it, it'll pop up some numbers on your cell phone, and then you'll go ahead and type those numbers in on your computer. Well, so when the software is ready to make a trade, whether the coin is going up and we're going to take profits, or down and we want to buy more when the price is going lower, then we call the AI and say, hey, AI, are you 95% number one, is the coin, do you think the coin's going to go higher now if I'm selling when the price is higher? And if AI says, yes, it's going to go higher, I say, okay, how much higher? I mean, what percentage, not how much higher, but what percent are you in your surety that it's going to go higher? If the AI comes back with 95% confidence that it's going to go higher, then the software will hold off and not take the profit yet. And then when the price will go a little higher, but the software will keep calling the AI. I watched it happen to my trader last night. And it almost felt a little frustrating to me, a little bit, because it said the AI is holding this profit. And I'm like, give me it. I want to take that profit. But the AI was telling the auto trader not to take the profit because the price is going higher. And so it didn't take, it waited, and then it kept calling the AI, and then the AI eventually didn't say it's going to go higher, and then the software went and took the profit. I think if I show on my trader here,
Yeah.
might have been one of my other traders, but here, like this here, adding to declining position, if it puts AI after the description like that, then that means it wanted to buy when it was going down, but then the AI kicked in and said, don't do it yet. Hold on, that price is going to go lower. So that's what AI is. It's kind of a separate thing. It's not something I brag about. I'm actually going to start showing on the screen somewhere, I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet, the AI numbers so you can actually see it all day long. AI up percent, AI down percent, and you're going to watch the number changing all day. And that's a separate program. That's AI is a separate program. It's way too big. It runs on multiple servers, and it really crunches some numbers. And it's looking at 27 indicators, and saying I've seen that pattern a million times, and based on what I've seen, every time this pattern I see the pattern, then it either goes higher or lower, and what percent of the time is it going higher or lower. The other thing is, you don't really, the 95% accuracy, it wasn't always that accurate back in 2001 through the years.
Yep.
I remember when I used to, because that's an arbitrary number that I set, it used to be 30% accurate. And I'd say, well, that's the best we can get based on the patterns that the auto trader knows because it's so new since I created it in 2001. And as it got smarter, I noticed that the AI was getting smarter. And it was starting to produce 95 or 45% accuracy and then 50% accuracy. And now it's up into the 90% accuracy. So when I see somebody that's just created some crazy bot out there and says, "Oh, look at me, I have an AI trader," and I'm thinking, all right, that guy just came out last year. If he really does have AI, which I doubt because I know the magnitude of the programming that it takes, if he really does have AI, it's still a 1-year-old competing against a 25-year-old. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. The AI doesn't know what it doesn't know. It can't know what it's never seen. And these patterns that it's looking at, it can't, it hasn't seen enough of them. So there's so many things that it's millions of patterns, and there's so many patterns it's going to throw at it that it's never seen. I don't know how it could predict anything.
Hey Ed, let me
Yes.
just say, since you gave that example on the AI of GoBabyTrade versus a bot, there's a question right now, and that question is, what's the difference between GoBabyTrade and a bot? So since you mentioned it,
Oh,
what other differences do you see?
well, a bot is just a widget, a
Yeah.
simple thing. You give it a simple rule and you say, all right, if the price goes here, do that.
Hmm.
It's really not much of a thinking machine. A bot's something like you couldn't run my auto trader on your computer at home. You wouldn't be able to go into email. It would eat up your whole computer. Um, plus plus, unless they have an infrastructure, I mean, I'll tell you, let's look at my infrastructure of the servers. I've got racks of servers. That's a lot of servers, right? And the robotic trader has one job: chase money. That's it, chase money. So think of that. That's all it's doing. Your robotic trader is one little program chasing money. It doesn't have to worry about data feeds because we have other servers that have that role that are feeding the auto trader your auto trader data. Your auto trader is not worried about where the data is coming from. It's not worried about anything. Its job is just to sit there and chase money, and the infrastructure is feeding it everything it needs. And everything it has, there's multiple versions of it. Like one data feed can go down, don't worry, we have multiple data feeds. And so a bot doesn't have that stuff. Bots didn't even exist in the stock market from
Yeah.
2001 all the way. until today, even I don't even know if they have them for the stock market. For some reason, when the cryptos came out, all of a sudden, all these crazy little toys or bots popped up out of nowhere, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I never had a competitor in the stock market. When
Well, Ed,
TD Ameritrade called me in 2006 out of the blue and said, "Will you connect your robotic trader to us?" I mean, that's pretty cool. When the top guy at TD Ameritrade calls, I said, "Why are you calling me and how do you know me? How did you even hear me?" Because I'm word of mouth only. I don't advertise. And his answer, how many of you know the answer already? Type it in. Type it in. Where's the chat? What's the answer? What did he say? I'm going to see if anybody's ever listening to me when I talk. Or maybe nobody on this webinar's. There it is. You're real. Thank you. Thank you,
way to go,
Walter.
Walter. Yep.
And now everybody's typing it. You're real. Don't you think that's cool? I want that on my headstone when I die, on my grave, on my headstone. You know,
You are about as
I
real as
thought
it
that was
gets.
so cool. I said, "Why are you calling me?" And his answer was very simple. He said, "You're real." And then I said, "You're right, I am real." Everybody else is out there blowing smoke. No big broker. You gotta, you know, a lot of things feed, I don't want to call it my ego, but it feeds my willingness to continue going forth in what I'm doing and knowing that everything I'm doing is working and it's right and it's real. And all these years, 25 years, it's because of that. Is because I'm constantly getting feedback telling me you're right, you're right, you're right. Even though millions of people are saying you're wrong, it can't be done, there's no way that could be real. If that was real, there'd be no stock market. If that was real, everybody would already have it. All that stuff. I've heard all the negative stuff that people say, that all their phobias that are in their heads. And I feel bad for them because they're not even right now. I've given you multiple examples of what makes this thing work. The bucket and the well, the closed positions versus the open positions, and how it just keeps taking money and for the rest of your life. I've given the 7-Eleven examples. You put product on the shelf and you sell it. You can scroll through the history of these trades, and you see here, you see profits. And when you don't see profits, that means that's a buy. That's a buy. And you can just scroll through and you can see what it does. If it's a 7-Eleven, just picture it's putting product on the shelf on the buy days and it's selling it off. And that's commerce. That's how commerce has been for thousands of years. It's not illegal. And it's not a winner versus loser kind of thing. Some people said if everybody had this, there'd be no market. You'd destroy the market. That kind of stuff. No, you would destroy the rich from taking all the money. Is all you would destroy, because picture if one robotic trader is selling a coin. It's because it's profitable for him and he's selling it. Another one might be just coming in or buying it because it's a lower price. It's time for him to buy. We add to winners and losers in this trader. So it doesn't matter where the price goes. It could go higher and we could buy more, or it could go lower and we could buy more. That's the power of the auto trader.
Hey,
Most
Ed,
people would never know how to manage that.
can I add something to that? That's a great answer on the difference between GoBabyTrade and a bot. But when somebody asks me that, I tell them, look, the GoBabyTrade is light years ahead of a bot. First of all, yes, it does have some AI, just like bots have, but it's got a 25-year head start. It's a full-blown money management system also that's not available in a bot. You've got a track record that is unmatched. You've got the availability once a week to come on a Zoom and actually ask the creator questions directly. You can't do that with a bot. There's no face to a bot. It's just,
No,
where did it
yeah.
come from? Where did it come from? Did another bot create the bot? So, there's so much
Right. I
for
got
difference.
lucky. because I'm already, you know, I retired from Microsoft in 95 and I spent 5 years retired. And now I don't know how old some of you are, but you know, retirement's for the birds. I thought retirement was all about money. You know, you already have a lot of money, so you quit your job. And I didn't realize it's like, man, I love the program and I'm sitting around here for 5 years doing nothing, you know. Get up in the morning, take a nice jog, 5 miles, take a dip in the pool to cool off, you know, and then you want to drive your Jaguar into a wall. You know, you can only take so many years of retirement. I've always heard all through my life, you always hear you know, you're always thinking it's an age thing. People got old. That's what they retire because they're old and then they die. And they didn't die because they were old. They got tired. They died because of boredom, to be honest. They quit doing what they loved doing. And I love programming. So after 5 years of retirement, see, now not many people are in that situation. I was in a unique situation where I was already bored to death and I was already wealthy. So I didn't have to go get a job. And then when the market crashed, that was the impetus. That was God's way of saying, here's your gift, Ed. Now you can get to do what you want to do, what you love doing. And then when people started saying it can't be done, then you know that was feeding it for sure. Especially when I'm looking at charts and stuff and I'm saying, let's go take a look at a chart. Let's look at
After the
layer
chart,
3, by the way. I mean, look at
after
this.
the
Pardon me, Attila?
no, after the chart, do you mind going over the dashboard on the light blue section on the left so people can understand those numbers? Because
Oh, sure, yeah.
they're pretty
But
incredible.
but you can see numbers jumping around like this, up and down and up and down. It's just free money. I don't even care if a coin goes down here like this over here, because you see these little wiggles here that you don't see, they're real small. That's buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. So even though it may go down a lot, you're still selling this whole time. And then when it goes, anything you bought on the way down and you were still holding it, when it goes up like this, everything you sold, everything, when it reached this point right here, anything you owned below that point was sold off. And then when it reaches the next point, anything below that, when it reaches that, anything below that. See, and even if I'm holding this loser and holding this loser, I'm still making crazy money on these wiggles. You know, and then it jumps up like this here. Anything you owned in here, anything below this point here for the whole time. You know, some people call me and say, should I stop my robotic trader from trading because because the coins are so low? And I'm like, I wouldn't, because the biggest money you're going to make is what you're buying at those low prices. You see this, like this little drop right here, this little dip? I mean, you just sold it off right here. This bottom one here, you just sold it off on that bounce back. You sold it off here on that bounce back. You know, you sold this one here off again on that bounce back. Look at that. So I don't care about where I'm buying. It literally means nothing. And you know, and you get the crypto or the stock market, the prices move like this, like waves. Sometimes if you hear me talking on the phone, while I'm talking on the phone to somebody, I'm actually doing this. I'm actually telling them on the phone, the stock market moves in waves, but the crypto market jumps around. Look at these prices. It jumps up and it jumps down, and I'm like, man, that's gold to an auto trader, man. I mean, you know, you got to understand, I've been doing this for 21 years, from 2000 till 2021, before I released the crypto trader. And then and that was just the stock market. And I was dealing with those stupid waves in the market, that slow moving prices. And then I turned on the crypto trader in 2021. I said, oh my God, I'm done with the stock market, man. As soon as
Hey, Ed.
I'm like, this is gold to an auto trader, man. This auto trader was designed for the crypto market.
Ed, I've got a trick question for you. For somebody that doesn't, looking into this chart, for somebody that does not own the trader, What does this mean to them? What does it look like? I'll give you the answer. Cardiac arrest.
Yeah. Yeah, they're thinking, yeah, that's what they're thinking. Things are bad. People want to stop their traders when the coins go this low down here. And I'm like, I wouldn't, because the biggest man, when that thing rockets up here, it's like I said about Trump. He's got $7 billion worth of crypto. Watch when this market, we've been on a 90% downtrend for the last, what, 3-4 years, 4 years since
Close to 4
2021.
years.
When that
Not for
market,
long.
do any of you really believe the coins are sitting down here 90% down, and they keep pushing it lower? Why do they keep pushing it lower? Even though it's already down here, it's already at pretty much near the bottom. Why do they keep trying to push it lower? I'll tell you why, because I get the emails and the phone calls. Because people panic when the prices go down. When the price of a coin goes down, it pushes the account value down because you have that inventory. And people look at their account value way too much. I literally sent an email to someone I think it was yesterday or the day before. I said, stop looking at your account value. You're driving yourself nuts because it means nothing. The account value doesn't matter because the auto traders prepped you. It's got all this inventory it bought at the higher prices. You've got the market trapped at the bottom. Anytime when a coin jumps, I mean, what is this, L3 on, boy, when was that? Let me see. What day it wasn't too long ago. It did a 50% jump in one day. I think I'm getting close. Where was it? I think that might
There
be
it is.
a fifth. No, it might have been another one. Hold on, let me see, because it's done it a few times. Yeah, I think that was it. But even though these are crazy moves in themselves, but I mean, my auto trader was so cool because it jumped 50% in one day. I mean, in 1 minute. And all the inventory that it owns, the auto trader sold instantly of L3. Everything I owned in L3 sold off. And then a few minutes later, it dropped all the way back down. It dropped down to there and then down there, like on the same day. I mean, this is the same day, you know. Well, let's see, August 29th, and we're still in August 29th. Yeah. It just came right back down, but that was just free money. I was like, cool. You went up, you gave me free money, then you went back down, and life goes on, I don't even think about it anymore. I know my auto traders are just taking all the money the market wants to give them. But inventory is good. A well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of negative inventory that you bought on the way down. Like I said, the Trump Family Foundation is sitting on $7 billion of that negative inventory. And watch when that trend starts turning up. That's why I'm saying they're playing the long game. The wealthy are playing the long game. They're always trying to, corner the market, like they did in the 2000 market crash with the housing or the bank stocks in 2008 when they pushed the bank stocks down to $1. My auto traders had a field day on that day too. But they pushed the bank stocks down to $1, and all the little guys, all the regular people, they all panicked and sold out. And the whales loaded up at $1. And then they pushed the coins up $50 to $50 a share on those bank stocks. Talk about beautiful profits that they got and left the little guy out in the cold. Man, I'm telling you, the market is vicious. It'll leave you bleeding in a gutter. It doesn't care about it'll take your house, your car, your kids' education, everything. But they can't do that to us because the software is not gambling. We don't have margin. We're not doing 2-to-1 margin. And as soon as it looks at your money and says, well, when I buy that coin, the software says, as soon as I buy that coin, picture that's the top, I'm going to spread the money you have all the way down to the bottom. So I don't care where the price goes because I know I'm going to be able to trade no matter where it goes. And as long as you keep taking money forever, I mean, this is like the fact that I'm even telling this to you is something else, you know? I mean, this is like, why am I sharing this with the public? You know, and somebody actually said that once. Why would he share that with the public? I'm going to tell you why. Number one, I need the infrastructure I have to run my own auto traders. Okay? I need the same software. I need the same servers. It's I'm not doing something for you that I don't need myself. It's not like I'm giving you something that I'm not using. I'm using it too. Number two, when I first started automating the market in 2000, after the 2000 crash, I gave away free auto traders for 5 years. I literally gave them away to everybody. Hey, come and get your free auto trader. Okay? And why did I do that? Everybody was helping me. The feedback. Some of you I talk on the phone for hours about, features and stuff, right? The feedback that I was getting from the users. And in my old system, I had 10 screens of things you could do, okay? Where you could gamble if you wanted. And basically, that's what everybody was doing. And so, but I didn't, I wanted to learn what everybody has, and everybody was willing to share with me, and I was automating it. So, and after a few years, I realized everybody's just gambling. They don't have a real strategy. So that's when I sold that company around 2018, I think. And that was downloadable software. As Attila says, you had to download that software and run it on your computer. People were complaining that it was eating up all their computing resources. They couldn't even check their email. I mean, it was really bad. And it was a lot smaller then than it is now. It's a lot bigger now, the program. All the
Hmm.
programs that are feeding this auto trader, you couldn't put those
Wow.
on your PC now. Because it's just gotten so big. But the thing is, it was I took away all that gambling and I said, we're going to chase money directly because that was the one thing that worked that I could see. With the proper money management, we're going to just keep taking money forever and there's nothing anybody can do to stop us. It sounds
I,
criminal, sounds like it can't be real, but there's no reason. Nobody said you can't buy something at one price and sell it at a higher price. Not
yeah,
violate any laws out there, because it is just simply a money machine and it will never stop taking money forever for the rest of your life.
yeah.
It's just free money. It's the perfect ultimate savings account. You throw your money in your account at Coinbase or Kraken and watch it grow without you having to do anything. I've taken all the sport out of the market.
Ed, can
What
you
did
go
you want
back
me
to
to
the,
look at, Attila? Something
yeah,
about in the trade?
when you go to your trader, you started this on 9/22/25. This is your most latest trader. You started with these
No,
five.
in 23.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses on. Duh. Okay, 23.
Yeah.
Did you
It was
start
this
with
one
these?
down here. I
Did you
put the
start
date
with these?
when it started.
Somebody has a question. Did you start with these five or did you start with three and add a couple more on?
I added this one here. I started with these four, the
Okay.
top four, and I added Swift not too long
Okay.
ago because
Okay,
it's
great.
number one on the highest trade count report, and we'll go into that report in a few minutes.
And
But
just for
that's
just
that's
for
that's a fast moving coin.
just for clarity, you start your traders roughly at about 200K, right?
Yeah. It
Okay.
might, I've been saying 200, but the last trader, I have multiple traders. I started another one a couple months ago with 150. I'm
Right, you
wondering
just
if I
said.
didn't start this one with 150. But, I always said 200, so I should stick with that. There's just nowhere to see what it started with. But, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have started with more than 200 for sure. But it's taken 353,000 in profits.
Wow.
And
Man,
then,
oh man.
yeah, and then, I mean, it's just free money. I actually have a Visa card, a Coinbase Visa card that I use everywhere I go. And every time I use it, I say the card that keeps on giving. It's just a free card. I mean, even in the last month, which is a really slow month, this is like this last month, everything's really coming to a halt. They're really trying to drive the little guy out. They're slowing the volatility. They're trying to, you can even see it today, down 1%, down 0.87%, down 2%. You know, today's move. They're deliberately pushing these coins lower and lower. And look what they did to Bitcoin, you know, down 3.3%, you know. So that went down from 111, you know. I mean, wasn't that at 115 a couple days ago?
Yep.
Somebody mentioned Bitcoin. It's like it's not a good coin to trade. In reality, if you had a separate auto trader and you put Bitcoin in that trader all by itself and just trade Bitcoin on 1% moves, you'd make a killing. The thing is, in my opinion, people are dollar cost averaging into the coin, which is what the software does by itself. But they've unchecked allow sell. That's on this other screen.
The
They've
best dollar cost averaging mechanism available ever.
Yeah, I mean the software dollar cost average. So this is your starting account balance. This is how much it's used, and this is what's available in remaining funds. But these coins have dropped like over 90%. But it's still, you know, it's going to trade them to the bottom. But if you had what people do with Bitcoin is they'll uncheck allow sell like that. This is the allow sell column. This is add to decliners, add when things are going down, add to advancers, add when things are going up. The software can do both. It can fill gaps between your lowest lot and your highest lot. If there's gaps in there, it can fill those gaps. So it'll actually say adding to gap. But it allows it to sell and take profits. Most people, when they're trading Bitcoin, they leave that unchecked. They just want to accumulate. The problem, if you do that, is and Bitcoin's just going between 115 and 110, up and down, up and down. Well, you're not trading at all. You're not buying anymore because you already own it between 110 and 115, and you're not selling it, so it's just going up and down. To me, that's like sitting on silver dollars in your drawer. You're missing all the action. You're missing thousands of trades you could be doing, the profits you could be making on the wiggles. Nobody would open up a 7-Eleven and stock the shelves with monster drinks and vapes and potato chips and candy bars and woo, the whole store is full of products, and then lock the door and wait for everything to appreciate. You wouldn't do that. Your mission in that store is to turn inventory. Like Attila said in the beginning when I questioned him on that. What is money flow? What is cash flow? That's what it is. You sell your inventory and then you restock the shelves. I'm just doing what people have been doing for thousands of years. The difference is in when people start trading the stock market or the crypto market, for some reason, and this is where I haven't figured it out yet, why they feel like they have to gamble all of a sudden. You know those guys on TV, the talking heads you see on, what is the channel? MSNBC, I think it is.
CNBC, MSNBC. Yep.
Yeah, where they got their suits on and their ties and they're all well coiffed and they look so good. Do they ever tell you how to make $1? I mean, do they ever? I mean, it's insulting. They just ramble and they just every day it's like, well, this company here, you know, and they want to tell you all about what's going on inside the company. Let me tell you something. I don't care what's going on in any of these companies. I'm not here. And you know, somebody actually said to me, well, you're irreverent. Remember that one? I had to Google it. You don't respect the markets. And the markets don't respect me, believe me. They're doing everything they can to rob all of us. The markets don't respect us at all. And actually, those guys on TV, they really upset me because millions of people watch them and act like they're actually like those guys are smart, and they're not smart. All they're doing, I mean, Kramer, really? Do you think he knows how to make $1? And you
Oh,
think
now
he
you're
knows?
getting personal.
I mean, I want to take off my jacket. You know why? Because I don't want to look like him. Here, not like a normal person, all right? Because you just can't. I watch them on TV and they frustrate me and it makes me mad that millions of people are watching that garbage, that trash on TV. Anyways, I would get another auto trader if I'm really serious about having Bitcoin, because a lot of people they're sitting on a lot of Bitcoin, and they want to trade it. I would, number one, I'd move it into a separate auto trader. I mean, $3,500 for an auto trader is nothing. Even Crypto Casey said she thinks it's worth 25,000 a year. And I mean, we're only charging 3,500 for a 3-year license. She said, I mean, you would get another trader, just put Bitcoin in it, and set your rules to trade on 1% drops. 1% add, 1% profits, and just trade that Bitcoin, trade away, baby, on 1% moves. You'd be raking money out of the market like crazy. However, it's not the biggest moving coin out there, granted, somebody else said that. And yeah, I think it's on line 370 of the highest trade count report. Let me search.
So there you go. This is what you're seeing now is what I deemed the $1 billion report.
Yeah, this one here. It's like if you were opening a 7-Eleven, which I've never done, but I like to talk about it because I really, when you go to a 7-Eleven, folks, look at what people are buying. Take a look at what they're at the checkout line when they're buying stuff and they're checking out. Just kind of glance over and, look at what they're buying. I'm nosy. I like to look at that stuff. And I noticed they're buying all the fast moving stuff. So if I was opening up a 7-Eleven, I'm just going to speculate here because I've never done it. The first thing I would have to do is have the building. Then I'd have the parking spots and all that, and the labeling and the sign that says 7-Eleven, right? And then I'd have to have all the shelving inside and the coolers. And then I'd have to figure out, what am I going to put in this store? I'm not going to sit around and call 1,000 vendors. I'm not going to call the Hershey's for the candy bars and Coca-Cola for the sodas and Pepsi. You're not going to do that. What you're going to do is you're going to call a distributor. I'm just guessing, but I think I only want to deal with one guy. And let me deal with the distributor that's going to be bringing everything. And he's probably going to bring up a report like this. I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure this is what he would do. And now he could sort it alphabetically and say, here's all the products you can have. These are all the products in your store that you could have. Or if he's smart, he would sort it by how many, give me the biggest movers at the top. Now, because that's what I'm there for, is I want to sell stuff that moves a lot. All right, I want Monster drinks. And then go down a little, and I want vapes. Vapes are big sellers. Candy bars. Well, I don't really eat candy, though. So should I sell candy in my store since I don't like candy? Yes, because it doesn't matter what you like, what you want. It's what turns inventory. I'm not here it's not a personal thing. You can't run a 7-Eleven and have morals because you're going to sell vapes. You can't say, sorry, I'm not going to sell cigarettes in my store. Well, then you're going to turn down a lot of cash because those are big moving items. Frankly, can you remember when cigarettes used to be like $2.50 a carton and now they're like $90 a carton? I don't get it. I don't smoke, but if I did, I can't pay that much for cigarettes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's one habit I got to lose.
Stop smoking, buy an auto trader. So wait a second. Hold on. I'm just seeing something. You did it again.
Oh, I added this.
You did it again. I keep warning people every time you turn around, and he doesn't call us and go, hey, guys, what do you think if I added a blah, blah, blah? He just does it.
No, you know where I get it from talking to people, clients, users. And somebody, because I don't want to be, this is 1 month, September. So you can see it's a slow month. And August and July. And I'm like, let's look at it in groups. Like, let's look at 3 months numbers and 6 month numbers and 9 month numbers and then 12-month numbers. You know, what's the most, how many trades? These are closed trades. Each trade is a profitable trade, a closed profitable trade. Now, what's at the top of the report is the big moving items, the ones that move the most, that you're gonna, if you're, I mean, I can't say what it's gonna do, but boy, if I'm looking at the last year, I'm gonna say I'm gonna get a lot of trades if it repeats what it did last year. As opposed to, do you want to sell Band-Aids in your store? All right, well, let's go to the bottom of the report because people aren't buying Band-Aids every day. You know, and what would be at the very, very bottom? Can you think of any item that would be at the very, very bottom? I'm thinking of like iodine. Who's going to go in and buy iodine?
Well, like I said, if you don't own a trader, it got iodine and tape and Band-Aids got really popular on the 10th.
Well, yeah, a lot of people who don't own an auto trader, they or look at this report, they're trading these trashy coins that are going to give you 76 trades a year in a year. You know, 2 trades a month, 3 trades a month, 1 trade a month. Look at this one, no trades for months. You know, I mean, 16 trades in a year. It's criminal. It's a sin. And I help people, you know, a lot of times they'll come in and what people have been doing, and they're educating me too on all this space. I didn't know anything about crypto 4 years ago until I automated the market. And and then I've learned a lot, and I've learned, that's why I created this report last year. I didn't have this report in 2021. I created it out of necessity.
You
You know,
created it
I
this
only
year.
trade coins. I mean, in the stock market, you already know your top movers. Google, Microsoft, Intel, Dell, Intel, Nvidia. We already know all that junk. We already get that. But in the crypto market, there's 10,000 coins. And who knows what's good and what's bad. All you're hearing on TV is propaganda, so I can't listen to any of it. Everybody thinks XRP is going to go to the moon. Bitcoin seems like it is, you know, but then again, it's got to go to 216,000 to double. I could trade a 2 cent coin that'll go to 6 cents in 4 days. You know, so, you know, do I really want to trade a slow moving coin, you know, like Bitcoin? So it's not really a good coin for trading, but if I guess if you lower it to a 1% moves, but you know, I'd rather trade these other coins at the top of the report, the ones that are going to turn inventory. I don't want junk in my store that's not moving. And a lot of people are trading stuff that's way down on the list. And you know, and I try to tell them, get rid of that, you know, I mean, get rid of this stuff. You can click on any coin like this number 2, this 4th. If you click on it, it'll take you to the website. At least it should. It should take you to the website. I got these links here from ChatGPT. So don't blame me. Maybe that one didn't. Let's look at INV right above it. Takes you right to their website. Most of them take you to the website. So you can see what these coins do if that interests you. You know, personally, I don't care what they do. I'm not in them because I love the company. You got meme coins. The only reason I trade Doge is because what's his name?
Awesome.
Elon Musk. He mentions, you know, you could buy a Tesla with your Dogecoin. He used to say that. Then Doge would jump 30%. So, you know, so I'm like, I mean, I know I could buy a Tesla with any coin. Just sell the coin and buy the car, you know, with the money. But, you know, he says that and then the coin jumps for some reason. So that must excite a lot of people. But, you know, they're not top movers. Like a lot of people are holding like XRP because they think it's going to go to the moon, and there's all kinds of articles out there that explain why and all that. You know, but I'm just at $2.41 and, you know, 490 trades in a year. I guess that's not too bad, 490 trades in a year. But, you know, I kind of like 1,239 trades in a year, 1,000 trades in a year, you know. And sometimes some people are sitting on a lot of coins, and, you know, you want to help them reduce those coins down. And there's a reason for that. Most the most people, if I go to the top traders, and this stuff's right on the website, you can see that you can go to the website and you see right here, there's the trade counts. That's that report we were looking at, the highest trade count report. And then
$1 billion report.
Edward calls it the $1 billion report, right? Didn't you used to call it a $1 million report, and then you just
I did, but then I started studying the value of it, and it's gold.
Yeah, it is. It's platinum, really. You know, it's like, who can trade without that report? It's beautiful. Shows me the active coins, and Coinbase and Kraken actually vetted the coins for us. 4 years ago, there was only like 35 coins at Coinbase, and then now there's like 350. So they've already done their homework. It's not like they're going to give you garbage that's just going to go out of business. I haven't seen any of that.
Ed, hold on a second. Stay on this screen, because this is the screen I was referring to earlier when we were talking about DYOR, do your own research. So this is where the highest trade count report is, the top traders, the videos, a sample trade. The FAQ is phenomenal. I mean, the FAQ, since I bought the trader a year and a half ago to where the FAQ is now, it's like night and day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And while you're on this, I'm going to put in the chat Casey's special discount link. If you click on that, it takes you right to this page. So you can do all your own research. And then if you click, buy it, there you go. It comes up with $1,000 discount.
Yeah, the regular price is $44.99. This is a 3-year license. Some people say, well, why don't you? Well, number one, we can't give it away free. There's way too much infrastructure for that. The employees, my support department, everything. There are costs to running a business. I would love to give it away free, and I did give it away free for years. But I gave Crypto Casey this discount link that takes $1,000 off the website price. We don't do monthly subscriptions primarily because credit cards expire, and when you have thousands of clients, you got over 100 credit cards expiring every month. You're going crazy. You send email to people, hey, your credit card expired. It's like, I'm not in the collections business. I don't even want to look at the stuff. You pay one time, you own the software for 3 years, end of story. It's so much easier. It's one area I don't have to hire another person to manage it. That, you can it just works, and you don't have to hire extra people.
Just in case we missed it, I don't think we stated it. If we did, I want to state it again. In case there's any confusion, Edward and I are the educational and support system for Crypto Casey on behalf of GoBabyTrade. So we're here to educate. We're here to educate you every Wednesday. Well, thankfully, Mr. Barsano volunteers his time to be with us, so anybody could ask him a question directly. In fact, Ed, we're pretty much at the point where you and I and Edward can go right into the questions. We've got some questions waiting.
Yep.
Yeah,
hang on a second.
1,000 things we could talk about.
Stand by. As you were mentioning our service, we strive towards, as Attila and I and our team does everything we can to serve you. As we started this conversation, I just posted in the in the chat. We strive towards 6-star white glove service. I don't think anybody has a problem with us not getting back to them. There's 2 tiers, right? There is, if you have highly technical questions or things that are more about the details of the trader, you can send an email to support@gobabytrade.com. If they are run-of-the-mill questions or discussions, or the ability, to connect with us to go, hey, I'd love to buy the trader. I'd like a little bit of hand-holding. Would you be able to do that? The answer is 1,000% yes. You can send an email to support@RCT Marketing Systems, request a Zoom. We'll buy the trader. We'll show you how to set it up. And 10 minutes later, you'll be making money in your sleep. And then the last I put in there, just a quick link, which you already know. If you get to this page through Casey's link, you can click on frequently asked questions, but here's a hot link to it.
Awesome. All right.
And this is a 2 water bottle webinar. So we have one more water. We have one more water bottle to go through.
Well, look, we covered a lot of ground faster than we normally do. We are just about at the 2 hour mark, and there's not a whole lot of questions that have come in.
Our
There are,
webinars
but
are
most of
usually
them
3 hours. Aren't our webinars 3 hours?
they push 3 hours, and Anthony, that I don't know whether Anthony's with us today. He's like, all right, next stop, 4 hours. No, no.
I know.
Most of it, as you see, we're covering all of the details corner to corner so that you understand what's available to you.
Well,
Then
one thing,
we'll go through and ask questions. A lot of them get translated to that frequently asked questions. So part of doing your research before you send us an email, unless you love us and you want to buy the trader and you want us to help you get connected, go to the frequently asked questions, type it in there. Everything you need.
one thing we didn't go into though. Can we talk about?
Yep.
One thing
Just going to finish my sentence. Everything you need is right at your fingertips. If you still have questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Oh, absolutely. We help everybody. I mean, everybody. We don't leave anyone hanging.
Nope.
What did we miss?
Well, we didn't. You see these 21 lots?
Yeah.
I mean, you can also click on a plus. You see these plus next to each one of these? Number one, the first thing also, well, let's just cover all these. There's the L2 there. It's only on my screen. It's not on yours. It's too many resources to shove it out to the World Wide Web. There's too much data. But the level 2, you can see these fake orders. Did you see the fake orders at the bottom? When they're real tiny orders, like 1 share, 20 shares. I mean, sometimes
5.8 shares. That's funny.
yeah, they're at 5.8 shares. See that right there? That's fake stuff to make you think that that's the best price. But really, you're not going to get filled very many shares. Like that 41 shares that was just down here, or 30 on down below. Those are the best bid and best ask prices right there. They try to make people think that's the best bid and best ask price. But based on the amount of shares that you're actually trading, the software might say, well, if I'm buying, I'm not going to get filled at this price, this bottom price. Based on the amount of shares I'm trading, I might get filled at this price up. Might have to get filled at this price up here because there's not enough volume between the bottom and up there to fill it. So I'm paying a much higher price. Or if I'm selling, I might be getting a much lower price. So people, this is all, you can't look at just one price on a screen. Some people look up here and say, well, this is the current best ask. Yeah, but it's wrong. It's based on what the world wants you to believe, but based on the amount of shares you're trading, the software does all that math and it calculates all that. So that's why sometimes I'll get an email and someone will say, well, it reached my profit goal. And it's like, not really. It didn't really reach your profit goal. You may have thought that, but it didn't. Because based on the amount of shares that you're really wanting to trade, you weren't going to get filled at that price. And the software, sometimes you'll see at the bottom here, it'll say order submitted or order pending, and then it'll say to order canceled because the price just ran away and it went the wrong way. And the software will just say order canceled. We don't play. You can't fake out this auto trader. So that's the level 2. The other thing is all the inventory. A well-seasoned auto trader has lots of inventory. And that's really an argument for why don't I sign up today? Why don't you sign up today? And what is going on in your head? I really like someone to even address that in the questions. I think it would be cool because I would like to know. Because I hear it all the time. Some people say, well, I'm waiting for the market to start going up. Well, the problem is, if you jump in then, you only have one lot. The auto trader will have bought one time. If you just started, the auto trader is going to start with one lot. You just bought it once. And then if the next day, if the coin jumps 30%, well, you only have one lot to sell. So you didn't really you made a little bit of money on that one lot. However, if I have 21 lots, I've got a lot of inventory I'm going to sell off. All these 5, 10, 15, 20 lots that I'm sitting on That's 21 lots. And when that coin jumps, if it does a big jump, I sell a lot of inventory off at once. A well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory, and you can't own enough inventory. And the sooner you get started, the sooner the auto trader can start doing its job to build that inventory. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to be running for a few months to build up nice inventory. And the longer you're running, the better, the more trapped you got that market, and the more you benefit when big jumps happen. Coin jumps up 50%, like ACH just last January 26th, I believe it was. Alchemy Pay, ACH, it went from 2.2 cents over the next 5 days. It went from 2.2 cents to 5.6 cents. And I happen to have a lot of inventory that it sold off. We can scan it real fast. What did I just click?
Nothing.
Something. Okay. If I scan down here, if I go to January 26th, this will only take a second.
There it is. There it is.
Yep. And you see here on January 26th, ACH started taking off. It went from 2.2 cents to 5.6 cents. And look at all this selling. This is all in one day, January 26th.
That's all in the same minute.
Yeah, right. Probably, you're right. That's all in the same minute at 8:07 p.m. The market started taking off, and the auto trader said, "Gotcha." And I got you trapped, and you're gonna pay me, baby. And it started, and what's really cool is even the next day it was still going higher and higher. But while it was going up, it did little pullbacks. And when it tried to pull back a little, the auto trader added more. I love it. It added more on these two here. You can see it bought more. So
and then 13 minutes later, it sold.
And then we sell, yeah, the same coins. It just sold it 13 minutes later. It adds to winners. It adds to losers. I mean, we got the market trapped, man, and it's just, and we got them. And I don't know what to say, man. It's just the market is an insult to humanity. It's just it's the simplest game in town.
I know.
Right tools. It's just like when I talk about the right tools. I built a storeroom in my garage years ago, right? And I was screwing those screws in the drywall, right? Or into screwing the 2x4s in. All I know is, man, I about destroyed my wrist. Talk about having the right tools for the job. Why didn't I have an electric drill or something to drill those screws in? You got to have the right tools for the job. And this is the right tool for the job.
Yeah. Hey,
so
Ed,
my point is, you got to get started. Don't wait for the market to be going up. You've already missed. You got to let this thing start building inventory.
Right.
And you can always click on that plus next to any coin. It actually tells you, I'm going to hit this minus to spread the window out. It actually tells you next estimated declining price. It's telling me if the current price is 12764. If the price goes to 11300, that's down, it's going to buy more. And if the price goes to 5 cents, that's up. Next estimated advancer, it'll buy more. It's actually telling you where it's going to buy ahead of time.
And how many? How many lots? How many? The quantity too. That's the money management. That's the money management.
It's all doing it, and it also is telling you. You go back up to that first lot. It's also telling you the amount, your target profit goal, the price it's going to sell at. It's telling you right now the price is 12266. If the price goes to 13530, it's telling me this is the price it's going to sell at. See, it's not a black box. It's not hiding things from you. It's not BS that of other people out there. It's telling you ahead of time where it's going to buy, where it's going to sell. It's every step of the way. There's no mystery. There's no BS in this system. There's no fakery. you know ahead of time where you stand.
Absolutely. Well done, Ed. Appreciate you
Cool.
showing your trader. You know, sometimes when we get to questions, you're going to need to go into your trader to show the answer. So you may want to leave your trader up. But let's get into some of the Q&A. Hey, Edward, um, if you don't mind, Edward, I want to read one, a really, really good point and a really, really good question from somebody Ed Barsano may actually know. Her first name is Julie and her last name starts with a B. So, so Julie says, can you explain when you use the report to pick coins? And then once you have a well-seasoned auto trader, how it's best not to change those coins.
Yeah.
That's always
Yeah.
what I say. And I am in 1,000% agreement with Julie.
Well, picking coins, when you first sign up, the software is going to give you 3 suggestions right when you sign up. And it's based on the users. What are the top moving coins the clients are trading? The top 3 movers. Now, originally, those 3 coins came from the highest trade count report. Okay. They were up here near the top. And then the next value is a well-seasoned auto trader. So that's why you don't change your coins. You want to keep adding to that decliner, because what happens if I say the coin's down 50 or 60%, and then you start saying to yourself, well, I already have enough of that coin, I don't want to buy anymore. Then what if it drops 20 or 30% more? And you're not trading that, you're not buying anymore. Then you have what's called a gap between there and a 30% drop. That's no man's land. That means when the price goes in there, down here, it's still going up and down. And this is where the money is. This is where the auto trader makes all its money, is the wiggles. And you're not making any. You're waiting for it to go back up there to where you own these coins. And you never want that. I got the market trapped because it can never move without paying me. It can't move. It can't move 3% or 5%. It can't move without giving me money. Give me money. Give me money. And that's just on the little wiggles. But then when you do crazy gaps like that, here's what happened on October 10th, that Friday, a week ago. The coin dropped 30%. L3. Perfect example. It dropped 30%. And then the software bought more 30% lower because it was an instant drop. And then a lot of us went in manually and just bought more. I couldn't help it. And I don't like to manually trade, but I can't resist a 30% drop. So I bought like $5,000 more worth of L3 at that 30% drop when it did that. I was actually laughing. People were texting me saying, I know you're laughing. I know you're laughing. And it's really funny when you get a text like that and you are laughing the whole time. I was cracking up when that drop happened because that was beautiful. And then, so it went straight up. So we only had that one lot. And if I bought something manually, then I bought a little more and it went up. However, what if the coin would have just gapped straight up after I'm sitting up here with all this inventory? What if it from here, right from where it was, and it jumps up 30%? Then I'm selling all this inventory at a beautiful profit. It's kind of like a 7-Eleven. You have a lot of potato chips on your shelf, and a school bus full of kids pulls in. You're going to sell a lot of candy. You're going to sell a lot of potato chips, all that. But if you only have one bag of potato chips on the shelf, you're only going to sell one bag. That's why I say a well-seasoned auto trader has a lot of inventory. 21 lots, 18 lots, 34 lots. People get discouraged when things go down. They don't realize the value of what they're holding if it was bought properly. However,
Yeah.
take 4 years ago, a lot of people went into ACH when it was at 12 cents a share. They went all in. The coin dropped down to, look where it's at. It's at 1.7 cents right now. That's all the way down here, 90% drop, all the way down. If you went all in up here and the coin is sitting all the way down here, and you went all in, you don't have anything in between. The coin's still moving like this. You're still buying and selling, buying and selling. Look, my ACH, well, that's 824. I had that killing on at the end of the month. But right here you can see it closed ACH. That was an $82 profit. Just, what is the 21st? Was that yesterday?
Yes.
So that was just free money. Thanks for the free money. On ACH, even though the coin is all the way at the bottom, I'm still taking money like crazy. On this trader alone, I've taken $150,000 of profits. Now I'm down 71,000 on my open inventory, but they can never take that 150,000 back from me. That's because I just keep taking money forever. And they pushed this coin all the way down almost to the bottom, and it has nowhere else to go. And it's a multi-million-dollar company, a real company with real products. It's like Apple. That's like, what is that, like PayPal or
Yep.
Apple
PayPal
Pay.
worldwide.
More like Apple Pay worldwide.
Hey, Ed, you know what's going to happen? Since we do this every week, we're going to come on, not in my opinion, my humble opinion, the not too distant future, we're going to come on and you're not going to have any inventory.
It happens. L3. Well, on my other trader, I bought L3, and when it spiked up 50%, it sold off all the inventory. It sold everything. I had to start all over because I only opened that account up like a week before that. And I didn't have a lot of inventory, and it sold it all off.
But that's going to be a great day.
Yeah, well, it's just free money. When I look at my auto traders is when I'm doing a webinar. I really don't even pay attention because I know the auto trader is taking all the money the market's willing to give it. And that's another thing people don't understand. Millions of people don't understand. It's all up to the market. It's just like you have a 7-Eleven. If it's raining out, maybe you're not going to get a lot of customers today. I don't know, but if it's, a beautiful sunny Saturday, you're going to get a lot of people going in there. It's whatever the market wants to bear, whatever they want to. We don't let the market breathe without paying us. That's the key here. And I feel powerful there because I know I'm sticking it to the man and there's nothing they can do to stop me. Every day it's like free money. The 18th, $114. The 19th, $52. And then nothing on the 20th. It didn't take profits. That must have been just a big down day. And the 21st. It took both of those, and so far it hasn't. Today's a down day. You can see today's move up here. It's a down day, so you're not going to take anything. But to answer Julie's question, you want coins at the top of the highest. You want the biggest movers. If I'm running a 7-Eleven, I want the vapes. I want the monster drinks. Do I drink monster drinks personally? No, I don't smoke vapes either. But if I'm running a 7-Eleven, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to trade the junk at the bottom of the report for sure. And what was Julie's second question?
Just the second part of it was why, explain why you want to not change the coins once you choose them. And that's pretty easy. Yeah.
Well, because you got all that inventory and you don't want a gap to appear underneath it. A lot of people uncheck those coins. They say don't allow it to buy anymore. They go to this screen and they uncheck. Oh, I better read. They uncheck the allow add on price declines and add on price advances. They say, okay, I don't want to trade ACH anymore. Well, what that does is it frees up this $9,000 to be used on other coins. For other coins, the other coins can borrow that money. And so if I hit spread funds equally, see, I only had, let's do that again, $9,000, right? And 9,100, 4,700. So if I uncheck this 9,000, I'm going to free up that 9,000, and then I hit spread funds equally. Now I've got 10,000 here. almost 11,000, 7,000, 6,000. It spreaded that money out, that $9,000 that it had. So it spreads it out for these. I get that. I'm okay with that part of unchecking that really, but I don't like it because you create gaps underneath it if the price goes lower. Um, but the other thing is if say I'm going to do that 9,000, right? What happens now if you uncheck that one and you're saying allow it to sell if it goes higher, just don't add more, and then add another coin or like XR, my mouse, XRP, and then I can click that. So I'm basically I took the money away from that one and I took the 9,000 that it had for ACH and it spread it out to these other coins, and it also added money to be used for XRP. So I don't kind of like to do that too much. And then if you add too many coins, I'll just add Bitcoin for the heck of it. You start really shrinking. What happened? All right.
Oh, you got no percentage trading.
But if I start adding money to these coins, these new coins, then you're shrinking the money. Like if this one here had a coin in it, you start taking why is it doing that? Oh, did I have that unchecked?
Yep.
Oh, I thought there was a bug in the software. I'm like, why is it doing that? It's not supposed to do that. No, because it did it here.
Yeah, because you have no more money to spread.
Oh, maybe that's it.
There you go.
Well, in any case, when you add more coins to your trader, I'm gonna take a look at and see why it's doing that.
But here's a good time to mention the trader has been refined. Its strategy has been refined over the last 25 years. If you think you can outsmart and outthink 3 million plus lines of code, you could try. Moral of the story,
Yeah.
it comes with default settings. The only thing that you have to decide is exactly what coins you're going to trade. Past that, don't change the settings. Mr. Barsano, you get to do whatever you want to do. This is your land and your software. Don't add positions. Don't take away positions. Stick with it. Rewind, go all the way back to the beginning, right? Mr. Barsano's original trader, he had 3 coins and had been trading it for a very, very long time. I mentioned to you stats that over the 3.5, a little bit more than 3.5, but less than 4, that period of time, he 5x'd his money on not the most volatile coins, but picked a strategy and stuck with the strategy. Now, if he had created the $1 billion report then,
you're talking about my $1 million account. People don't like to see that because it discourages them. They think they need $1 million to trade the market.
No,
they don't. I have people trading the market with 1,000, 2,000, 5,000.
Yep. And I'll give an example at the end of what's possible on a significantly smaller amount of money. But the moral of the story is don't change the settings. Just pick it and leave it.
Even if you traded just paper trading, the education you would get by buying one license and watching it run for 3 years will change your life forever. You'll never look at the market. That's the beauty. I don't look at the market the same as the rest of everybody else. Other people look at it like it's gambling and risky and all that, and I'm like, all I see is free money. I don't know what other people are seeing.
Yeah, if you want to have, let me be more blunt about it. If you want to have a miserable experience with the trader, change the settings and change your coins. You will be so miserable and confused, and you won't even believe it. Remember in the beginning, I said, when I say set it and forget it, please take it literally. That applies to the settings and the coins as well. not only the fact that you don't have to interact with the trader, and this is not copy trading of any kind, but literally there's nothing for you to do other than make the initial decision. Yes, I would like to automate a part of my financial life, especially within the digital money revolution, and I want to make money in my sleep. This has a 25-year track record. I like what I see. Boom, decision time. Pull the trigger, get the $1,000 discount. Now you own the trader. Once you go live, zero to do for you.
Yeah, you just come and look at your auto trader every once in a while,
Yeah.
or every day if you want. I'm
Yeah.
always surprised when I call somebody up and I say, and I'm going to help them maybe go live, and they don't have their computer running. I'm like, really? I got computers all over my house and they're all running. I don't turn off my computers. It's always amazing that they don't have their computers running.
All right,
Anyway,
gents,
I remember a few weeks ago, Attila, you said you were saying, look at all the money you made since you started, 353,000. And then
Right.
I said, I didn't make that. And you said, what are you talking about? It says
What
it
are you
right there.
talking about?
I said, I didn't make that. And you're like, what are you talking about? It says it. And I said, no, I made this over here, $26, $82, $52, and it added up to that.
Yeah.
You don't have to, I know everybody wants to get rich, but if you're running a 7-Eleven, nobody's going to buy a $50 bag of potato chips. Let me let you know that ahead of time before you raise the price of your potato chips to $50 a bag.
All right, Ed, we got to get into the questions now. Edward, do you want to take the reins and go to the Q&A and ask the first question?
Sure. Joseph, I think this is your first time. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the participation in the question. He said, okay, if I start to read before I run my mouth, then I know the answer. I'm new to GoBabyTrade, and I'm happy with it over the past few days. While it seems to perform well, do you give recommendations on what percentages of a crypto portfolio would be appropriate for new investors to put here versus more the mainstay hodls, Bitcoin and Ethereum? So first, I'm going to say we don't offer recommendations. I'll give you an opinion though, right? We can't offer recommendations
we got
because
lots of those.
yeah, we got lots of those. If we offered a recommendation, that would be considered financial advice, and we can't do that. Not good for us, not good for you. So I'll talk about my experience. So there are coins, and I'm a hodler in some things. Attila said he is as well. The only one here that's not is Mr. Barsano. He does not own a coin that's not in a trader. But I'll give you my humble opinion. There are some things that I have owned, and I've owned for a while, particularly those things that I've owned before I met Mr. Barsano and found this amazing tool. Now, percentage split up, my opinion, listen, if you look at, first of all, take it on the premise that if you believe that this is a life trader for you, as I made the example or gave you the example, if I said, give me $1 and 3 years later, I'll give you 3, how many dollars? Everybody answered all of them. So if that premise is true, my goal is to get to a point where I have 100,000, 200,000 in the trader. And that's going to come from hard work that I do every day. It's going to come from coins that I hold that appreciate, particularly as I'm accumulating in this market for the parabolic move. As soon as that happens, I'm going to take that money and put it in the safest place I can ever think that it could be. Guess where? In the trader, right? So that percentage piece, Joseph, I'm assuming you didn't buy things yesterday. If you're a hodler, you're probably negative inventory in that position. But I think that, again, in my humble opinion, I think the market is gonna skyrocket. Let me belabor that a little bit more. When I went back to talk about when Ed Barsano at the beginning was talking about market manipulation, if you believe that the market is not being manipulated, then you just came out of a coma. Why is it being manipulated? Because I talked about the example 5 years ago. If you said crypto, it was a dirty word. It was the 4-letter word that everybody thought you were a drug dealer or somehow stealing from somebody. Well, fast forward. this year. We're at a strike point in time that you will never ever see again in history. All of a sudden, we have a positive or a pro crypto, pro digital finance, pro DeFi, the decentralized finance environment. All the rules are changing to your favor. But guess what's happening? As Mr. Barsano normally points out, didn't point out, but I'll reiterate what he said before. Ever since the beginning of the year and the National Crypto Summit, what's happened? The market's been down. Why? Why? Because all of these rule changes put the institutions, banks, big equity firms, put them in a position before those changes. They couldn't play in this market, and they didn't want crypto to be successful because you were taking the money out of their bank, your money that you're lending to them for free, by the way, and they're lending it to you back to you for 35% on a credit card. You were taking their money away. Guess what? These rules changed the rules for them too. Now they can play. So what's happening? What's happening? The institutions are getting involved, and they don't want to pay full price. So what do? They're forcing the prices down as low as they could possibly. They're bouncing off the bottom. I don't know whether they can get any lower. What? Why? Why? So they can take all the crypto from you and I, chase all of the people out that have been hodling, that are like, I've been in it for 5 years. I'm tired of losing money. I'm just going to take my licks and move on. Those people,
People are bailing out every day.
People are bailing out by the billions. The institutions get to play, and guess what? When the institutions get to play, they're taking all of the inventory, because after the institutional adoption phase, which is happening right under your nose, what's next? Retail. When your bank is going to start selling you crypto. And guess what? With a trader, you own it all at the bottom. You're one of the big guys without the big money.
Yeah, the big boys want to do it all. They're cornering the market. I've been watching them for 4 years. They're going after all the shares, and the public, I mean, only a handful of us are even in the market, and the other half the people that are in the market, most of them are all way underwater from where they bought it. We're the only ones following that price all the way to the bottom. It's like, all right, fine. Now what are you gonna do, market? Are we done forever? We've been on this downtrend for 4 years. Are we going to go to an uptrend? Because when we do, we're going to get rich.
Yeah. So the perfect strategy is, particularly if you're a holder, go back 5 years. If you've been a hodler for the last 5 years, or even the last 5 months, and you don't own a trader, you're pissed because you're in a losing position on everything. But if you have a long-term belief, whether it's XRP, Bitcoin, you name it, whatever, because of the technology is going to speak for it, and it's eventually going to skyrocket, again, in my humble opinion, not advice. But if you own coins for the long term and the trader, you are in the 1/1,000,000th of 1% that has the market trapped.
But to answer George's question,
Joseph.
Oh, is it Joseph?
Yep.
I would just put my symbols in here that I want to trade, click spread percents equally, and there you go. 118,000 a piece. So be it. That's it. I wouldn't play with these numbers. People play with the numbers all the time. I see people and especially if you have a lot of coins and you're doing 1%, 3%, I'm like, oh man, you don't even have any money in the coin. You're just, you don't want, you want to get the less coins you have, the better off you are, because then you have a good bucket of money in those coins, because when they move, you want to make good money. I see people trading with 50 coins, they're trading 2% per coin of their money. And they're just dividing their money up into such small buckets that every time a coin moves, they make 3 cents or 5 cents. I mean, you can do better than that. The top movers, if you go to the website, I mean, most of them aren't sitting in more than like 3 coins. 3 or 4 coins or 5
coins. 3 or 4 is plenty. It really is. 3 or 4 coins max is plenty. So my take real quick, much quicker than you could imagine, to Joseph's question is determine how much cash flow you need. And if you need a lot of cash flow, put as much money in there as you can. Very simply, the more money that's in the trader, the more money it's going to make for you. It's that simple.
100%, 100% of $1 million is $1 million. 100% of 1,000 is 1,000. So,
Yeah, thank
it's,
you. Yep.
again, the people with big money are making big money because
So,
they're investing more per trade, which means more profits per trade. And your
right.
goal is to get this number up. So if you have too many coins, this number gets real small.
So, Ed, we've got a question here from Kathy J, and she says, Ed,
Hi,
will
Kathy.
you will you please finish your thought on what you were saying about people sitting on a lot of coins and you want to help them? You were talking about this within the context of the highest trade counts earlier. Thank you.
Well, what I'm saying is if you're sitting on a whole bunch of coins and you're trying to reduce it down to like 5 coins, if you're sitting on 20 coins, you got 15 coins to try to figure out how to get rid of. Which ones do you want to get rid of? I'd say the first thing I look at is I go over here and I look at my open positions and I say, well, in my case, I'm not getting rid of any of these. All right. But a lot of people, like if you look at your trader, you might only be down $40 on one coin. You can get rid of that one. You're only down $40. Who cares if you're only down $40 on one position? But once you start getting into $400, $800, $1,000 negative, I don't like to sell things at a loss like that. So the first thing I do is I look through here and I say, all right, how many of these can I get rid of? Some people are down 8 cents or 10 cents or 20 cents. I'm like, get rid of it. Just sell it. And when you sell a coin that you don't want to trade anymore, if you click close, you have this, you make sure you check that box down here that says stop the trader from purchasing more. See that checkbox? So that when the auto trader closes the position, it doesn't buy it back. It'll automatically it'll automatically come over here and uncheck these for you so that it won't buy it back after it sells it.
Right.
Yeah,
So
folks.
that's the first thing you do. Then you come over to the highest trade count report and you say, all right, now these other coins, let's review them. Which ones are at the bottom and which ones are at the top? I want the stuff that moves the most at the top.
Um,
Basically, for me, it's as simple as that. If I'm sitting on coins that are giving me, 289 trades a year versus, I mean, how many people are sitting on XRT? When they could be sitting on, Swift. Swift and
well,
SPA have been the number one and number two coins for the last, God, for 6 months. These two.
Ed,
Yes.
I used to tell my kids when they were growing up, I used to say, don't put yourself in positions where bad things can happen. I'm going to say that to everybody on this Zoom. Don't put yourself in the position where you end up with 20 coins. We repeatedly say week after week on here that you really don't need more than 2 to 4 coins to make a killing with the trader. Why are you having more than 5 or 6 or 7 coins? Don't put yourself in that position. It's not needed. It really isn't. And again, that's part of your DYOR. You could do your own research, go to those top 50 traders, click on the yellow highlighted link, and you could see how many coins these people are trading with. Now, occasionally you might see one with 6. Here's somebody with 1.
Yeah.
This is the report. This is part of your due diligence you could do.
Sometimes
Now,
you'll get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All top moving coins, though. It's hard for me when they call and they say, how do I reduce this? I'm like, you're trading all the top moving coins. The problem is you can't trade all the top moving coins, you can't trade them
yeah.
all. I mean, every once in a while you see this kind of stuff, where people have more. I mean, I don't even know. I understand ACH, AIOZ, Peppy, and
Yeah,
maybe
I have
synthetic
AIOZ.
oil, but a couple of these coins I never heard of. Like, where's LDO? Let's look. LDO and SEI. LDO and SEI. Let's look.
LDO is
LDO.
Lido. Yeah.
Lido. It's on line 57, 472 trades in a year. And
No, that's a 9 month.
SEI. 423 trades. Both of those coins are giving you half the
No,
trade.
that's on 9 months, Ed. You went to the 9-month column. You didn't go to the year column.
Oh, right here. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
just
Oh, 653. All right, I can accept 653.
Yeah, that's a good coin. I actually own
That's not
Saves
bad.
separately. That's a good one. That has movement. Yeah.
But when you start looking, to me, I don't even mind 500 trades. You start going below that, you're starting to
Yeah.
get into junk territory.
Yeah.
And then when you start going even lower than that, then you're into the 300s, 200s, 100 trades in a year. It's to me, and then it's tying up all your money that you could be using. I love three coins. I started out with ACH, GRT, and SHIB, and that was it. 34% on ACH, 33% on GRT, 33% on SHIB. Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu is one of the most widely held coins out there. Almost everybody that owns crypto owns some SHIB. SHIB.
Correct. Yeah. All
Hey,
right.
Kathy's
Well,
got a follow-on question, Attila.
oh, she does? Okay, hold on.
Well, it's more of a comment.
Oh, wow. Okay. She said, isn't this a departure from set it and forget it? I thought you didn't change coins regardless of a changing rank.
The
We don't.
problem is, it's the people who come in with too many coins. When they
Yeah.
want to, they start out with 20 coins as soon as they get their auto trader, and then they call us. And they say, hey, can you help me? I've got too many. They have too many coins, and they're not making. And based on the amount of money they have, somebody might only have $1,000 and wants to trade 20 coins. He's making 3 cents a trade. The profit, the less coins you trade, the bigger this profit is going to be per trade. And I want that to be high. I have another trader, my bigger account, where I just make $300, $400, $500 a trade, and that's what I want. The bigger the money you can make per trade, and that's your goal. The way to do it is you trade less coins and you throw more money in. It's just a numbers game. Like I said, 100% of a million is different than 100% of 1,000.
Yes.
Particularly
And
if you have the benefit in this market where we're at the bottom, bottom, if you have the opportunity to own the trader and it starts collecting inventory now, you're in Fat City. Hey, we got one more, Scott. Scott, I read through
I
it.
have videos. There's a video out here, right here, that says, "Don't do this when buying cryptos."
Don't mortgage your house.
I know I have to say it because people are trying to throw every dollar they can find. The veterans, the people that have been running it for a few years, they realize the power of the trader and they start they're selling their rental properties, they're mortgaging their houses, they're closing down their companies and selling the company off. They're selling buildings, they're quitting their jobs and taking the payout. People are doing everything they can to throw more money into this money machine because the more money it has, the more money it makes. I even put this video out here. Don't do this when buying crypto. And it says, don't mortgage your house. Because people are doing that. And that's the one thing I kind of feel I really discouraged about because I know it takes years to pay off a house. And I just hurts to think that you're gonna mortgage your house and start the payments over again. Even though I understand what you're saying, you're paying 8% interest on a loan, but yet I'm getting 50 to 100% a year or 10% a month or whatever, running an auto trader. It just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel
right.
right.
So Ed, I've never countered that comment before, but I'm going to.
Go ahead.
The millionaires and the billionaires, the people that make money, as long as they know how to manage the debt, they use OPM, other people's money, borrowed money, to make money. You just gave the answer to the question. Yes, I'm conservative, a little bit more conservative like you are. But I realize that if I can use other people's money at 8% to make 30, 40, 50, 100% and accelerate the payoff, right? I've got the equity. I worked all my life to pay off a house or close to it. I take some money out, obviously, in a more conservative, take some out, not all of it. But if I'm paying 8% in this marketplace to make 30, 40, 50, 100%,
All right, I got to counter that.
big
Counter
money,
what you just said.
big money uses debt to make money.
Oh yeah, big money does. The thing
Right.
is, when you're dealing with a society, and I'm not putting down society, don't get me wrong, but if you don't even see the value of an auto trader, then you're not thinking clearly anyways. And my concern is that they're gonna get a $200,000 mortgage. They're gonna put 100,000 in the auto trader and go and blow the other 100,000 and buy a new car or something.
That is a
That's
really
a big
valid
concern
point.
I have.
Right.
And now you created a mortgage on a house, and you didn't. If you put the whole 200,000 in the auto trader, maybe I'd feel a little differently about it.
Right.
But I believe most people won't do that.
Yeah, I believe you're absolutely right. Great scenario. They take 100,000, put it in the market. They buy $100,000 car that they really thought, and then the money that they just put in the market is not advancing themselves. They're just now paying off the debt that they recreated in using that cash flow. So now we're getting into the therapy. Right.
Yeah.
So
or they'll put the whole 200,000 into the auto trader,
and then just blow
a few months later they'll say, I want to go buy a new car or whatever, and I'll say, well, look at all this money I got sitting in this auto trader, and they'll take it out and go buy the car.
Yep.
Either way, it's not staying in the auto trader. I'd feel differently if it was.
If you're personally smart with your money management, as smart as the trader is, there are ways to do such. Just opinion, not advice.
Well, you said don't change the rules on the trader, and I think that's a common sense thing. Why not just change the rules?
Because if we prove the point, set it and forget it, don't change it. You're the creator of this. You get to play with your own baby, right? You do what you want because you, over the last 3.5, almost 4 years, you have cleaned up. You have broken the back of the people that took advantage of you. For the average person, me included, buy the trader, put as much money as you can, and build along the way. If it's $500 a month, if it's $100,000, whatever the case may be, the more the bottom line is the more money. Right, the more money in, the more money out. So
I mean, I've seen people start with $500 and then add $100 a month to their account.
Yeah.
And so in the end of the year, they've got 1,700, and the auto trader has pushed that up into the thousands.
Yeah, classic. You make a classic comment that very few people get because they don't see it from the inside out. You go, it's sort of sarcastically, is 100% not enough?
Oh, I know. I know.
Edward,
how much do you want me to give you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Scott.
Get to the slide.
I'll get to Scott. So Scott's relatively new, I believe. Great observation. This is something, Scott, great question. I'm going to read through it. We'll dissect it a little bit, but I think this is something that you want to set up a meeting with Ed and his team to best position you. So here we go. Ed, you may have the answer right off the top of your head. Said, this is just a thought because I'm maxed out on Swift lots. Would it be a lot of trouble to have the option to increase the number of lots GBT buys on each crypto on an individual basis?
Yeah, other people are asking that. I get it.
And to be able to add money to just one crypto without being spread into the others. Here's the reason I'm asking. I've maxed out Swift, that's SWFTC, and I would like to only increase the number of lots for Swift because when you increase the number of lots, the algorithm purchases lower amounts of the crypto per lot. And I don't want that to happen on my other cryptos because I have money still allocated for them to purchase more lots. For example, I have 10 lots of CRC RV in inventory, so I still have money left to purchase 15 more. But my Swift has 27 lots in inventory, parentheses, because I allocated money and increased the number of lots GBT goodbye, and no reserves left to buy more unless I increase the number of lots again for all my cryptos. But as I started, that would
David.
reduce the amount of money used to purchase each of the other cryptos.
Do you want me to address that?
Yes, sir.
Well, the problem you run into when you describe what you said is you said you want to be able to just increase this number here for one coin. Well, then you get to the point where you say, all right, I want to trade Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's not a good coin to trade on 3 to 5% moves because it doesn't move that much. You only want to move it in 1% moves. All right, now you want to change, now you also want to change other numbers. Now you want to change, I want to trade on 1% moves for Bitcoin. So now I've got to make that one for each coin, make that one and add shares on a different one, that one for each coin. And you really, what you're asking for is the ability to change all these settings for each coin. And that's a lot more involved. That's like running, if you're running 10 symbols or 5 symbols, it's like running 5 auto traders. You know, really, it's the equivalent. If you saw the internals of the software in what it's doing, you're asking for a real lot to do that. So sometimes, you know, when someone's asking for one little thing, I get that. But then it starts getting more involved when you start saying, all right, if I'm going to address that for everybody, because I'm getting requests for everything. People are asking really ultimately to be able to because I listen to all the suggestions. I've got them all in the to-do bucket, you know, but I have to analyze them. And really when I put it all together, you're basically saying you want to be able to have a set of rules for each coin. So I'm thinking remove this setting, all the settings from this screen altogether, and then have an option up here for the ability to just say rules next to each symbol. And really, you start getting into gamble territory when you start changing all the rules for every symbol. It's going to be chaos.
I think he's best
I know
served,
what
Scott.
you're talking about. I get it. I'm in the same
Yeah.
boat. You know, I'm
Scott
in the same situation.
Wouldn't you agree, Ed, that the best
Yeah, I've
thing
got
he could do?
34 lots of this one and only 18 lots of this other one. I'm in the same situation, and I changed my lots. I'm in the same boat you're in. And what
Yeah,
did I
he
change
says,
my lots to?
thanks, Ed, I understand. He said that would be like going back to 10 screens, the 10 screens of ways to blow yourself
You're
up.
right. But you notice I did the same thing. I had to change my lots, max lots to 40 to address that one coin that's taken off, that's got too many.
Right.
And I'm being kind of punished on these other ones for it, you know?
Yeah. Scott,
All
thank
of
you.
that-
You are one smart dude. Thank you. Not that everybody else that's here is not smart, but great discussion. Great, just
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good question.
You
And
know, you
there's
know where I'm at when I get these, because I do get that suggestion a lot, and people are asking for all different stuff to separately for
there's
each coin,
nothing.
and I'm like, wow, I can't just do one. This thing will be mud by the time I get done doing it. You notice
Bob,
I don't let the system get out of control, where I don't get to, like you said, 10 screens, because I did that before. I already did that, and it's not good for you. It's not good for anybody when you start giving people all those choices. And that's another thing about those bots that are out there. They are under the impression that it's good to give people all these drop downs and all this stuff. I'm like, man, I've been there, man. You're crazy. Man, I don't know how anybody's going to make any money with that bot. You know, there's like 50 different things they can change. You know, this is just a money machine as it is,
let
really.
me.
true.
Yeah, don't you agree? Don't you agree that that this question, this really good question Scott asked, will not be asked anymore once the market goes up 20, 25, 30, 35%, and it stays up there and we see a bull
Oh, yeah.
market? Because
We're
then
going to be in
then
heaven. The
But
whole
it's over.
thing here is for the people to just hang on in this down while the whales are trying to get everybody out. Because they keep pushing these coins lower each day, and they're doing it on purpose because when they push the coins lower, it lowers the account value and the what does the average person do? You can ask everybody on this what is this called? This webinar? You can ask yourself, are you a person that looks at your account value a lot? Stop it. Quit looking at that account value. Because that's just
Yeah.
number. That's just because they're pushing the prices lower. It's artificial. I'm not even worried about that. Picture this. If you bought a 7-Eleven, I'm going to go back to that. Even though I've never bought a 7-Eleven, I got a lot of opinions about this 7-Eleven. say, you, say you bought a 7-Eleven and you paid $1 million for it. Now the cost of, you know, and you're taking so many thousands a day profits each day, and you got to pay all the expenses and everything. So I don't know what you net each day, but you're taking that out. Say you take 5,000 of profits. You're not going to sit around and say I'm down 995,000, and then the next day you make it, or next month you make another 5,000. Then all right, I'm still down 990,000. You don't look at it that way. You're looking at how much am I making every day. Because every business is underwater. Every business out there starts out underwater. You're gonna
Yeah.
pay, you're gonna have to have a building and licenses and education, whatever you're paying for all that stuff. Even a bachelor's degree nowadays, you're gonna be out thousands, and you're already starting out down, but the name of the game is keep taking profits and watch these profits add up because they can't stop the profits from coming. So don't worry about it. It's like Edward said, when this market's, even if they stay down here, the longer they just keep wiggling, the longer you use, anybody that's running this thing, that's been running these auto traders for 3 years, already knows you're just going to keep taking money forever. It's the new people coming on that have just started maybe 5 months ago, and the market's been going down, 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 down for 5 months, and they're seeing their account value going lower. And I'm like, yeah, but you're building all this beautiful inventory, man. You got the market trapped and you don't even know it. So the auto trader isn't just taking money; it's also prepping you for the kill, or prepping you for the individual kills. Like when a coin jumps 50% in one day, you got all that inventory you're going to dump off. And it's prepping you for the constant kills, and you're doing it. The auto trader's constantly doing that stuff. It's
Yep.
it's not
Got it.
gambling at all. There's zero
Yep.
gambling in this system.
Hey, Ed, well, a quick one from Joseph came in. Is it recommended to use the profits taken report tab for choosing currencies or the expand box found under the select currencies tab?
Um, what expand under the select currencies?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you can select by. Keep going up.
Oh, up here.
Nope, keep going. There
Oh,
you
oh
go.
yeah. No, I use the expand box. I'll tell you, I use it for one thing. Number one, it can tell you all the coins that Coinbase has. Let's just say like that. Show crypto pairs for Coinbase, sort by symbol name. If I want to just look in there, sometimes someone will, fart, like that fart coin, FART. They'll send email and say, can I trade FART? Why won't it take it? Well, I just go to this report to answer it. That's how I do support. Somebody asks me a question, I know where to go to look. I'll just go there and I'll look and I don't see FART on the report. I mean, on this list, so they don't trade it. How I use this report also is I, I let it, I sort it by daily move percent and I click expand. And this middle column is the average between the biggest movers on the left and the smallest movers on the right. This is a daily average move. It's not as good as your highest trade count report. But I look at this middle column and I see they're only moving on average a 0.5%, 0.56 a day, which is really not much. The market has really slowed down a lot. And I'm going to tell you, when this number goes to over 1%, 1.5%, and 2%, this middle column, we are flying. We are making money. I used to have when I first turned on the auto trader back in 21, the cryptos, I used to have my laptop sitting right next to on my bedstand. And with the lid closed. And then in the morning, I would lift up the lid to see how much I made while I was sleeping. It was so cool. I mean, thousands a day, man. It was so cool when the market's moving. And this number here, this middle column, was like 2.5% a day on average. Then we were killing it. We were getting 15% moves up, down, all over the place. So I
I think
wouldn't.
I think you're going to see that again.
Yeah, we are going to see it again. I can see the game. We've already lived through enough crashes to see how the whales work, how they manipulate the market to manipulate the public.
So
And
we're
they're
down to one last.
they're trying to corner the crypto market.
Professor Barsano, we have one last question before we let our people go. Don, thanks for the question. First time I think you've engaged. On previous GBT Zoom, Ed changed his profit goal per trade from the default of 3% to 5%. Would Ed explain this strategy again, please? I currently trade 3 coins, XCN, SUI, and L3. Is that due to the environment we're in? Question
I
mark.
love them. I love those coins you're trading. I trade all 3 of those also in my other trader. All right, last October, just before the election, for 3 years, we were only trading 2% profit goals because the market was just literally on a slide down. When ACH went from 12 cents down to 3 cents, down to 5 cents, and then down to 2 cents. So we were only going after 2% profit goals. And that's basically what the market could support, really, today's move each day. And then I just noticed before the election, I could see that these numbers, today's moves, whether it's up or down, it didn't matter. They were increasing. I could see they were increasing. And I said, so when I said, I'm going to change my trader to 3% profit goals. So I sent email to everybody. And I said, hey, by the way, I'm changing my profit goal to 3%. Just so everybody knows what I'm doing. A lot of people like to do what I'm doing. I get that. And so I changed it to 3%. And then a few months ago, like a few weeks ago, I think, I came to the same conclusion that I feel like there's 2 things. These coins are so low, and I've got all this inventory, and I'm watching Trump sit on $7 billion worth of inventory. And so I asked myself, he didn't buy that $7 billion at the bottom. He bought it all the way down from up there, all the way down. But he wasn't trading, so we were taking a lot of money while it was going down. But we were doing the same thing, essentially, holding more inventory as it was going lower. So I feel like I'm not so eager to just give it all back for a 3% profit goal now because I want to be like Trump. You know, I want to sell all my inventory for much higher profits. And the market will support that because we are getting crazy moves, you know. So I'm raising mine to 5%. So I was generating an Excel spreadsheet of I wanted to email everyone who doesn't have theirs set to 5% yet and tell them to raise that I'm raising mine to 5%. Now I've already raised my other traders to 5%. Why didn't I raise this one to 5%? That's got to be a question for you, right? I'm going to tell you why. It reminds me that I got to raise it to 5%, which also reminds me that I got to send that email to everybody and tell them that I'm going to raise it. And, you know, so I'm so busy that I've got so many things that I keep forgetting to do. And I'm not a guy that writes, I'm not going to sit here and make a list of that. Otherwise, I'll be looking at a big long list of all this stuff. I already have lists of things that need to be done. But that's
Yep.
one of the things that I'm raising all my traders to 5%. I'm not changing the bottom number.
Well,
I'm leaving that
it
3.
does, Ed, it does say in the far right column, it does say 2 to 5% of entry price.
Right.
So it
Well,
does say that.
I already told Steven he edited this screen already
Yeah.
to adjust for that 5.
Oh,
But I
okay.
haven't changed this trader yet.
Well,
My other
folks, just
traders are 5%. So
okay.
those of
That
you
does.
that heard it already, you can go ahead and change yours if you want to follow what I'm doing.
If you want to follow what I'm doing is the key statement. You don't have to, folks. Just letting you know, but you can. All
So,
right.
gentlemen and
And
ladies, we just crossed over the 3-hour mark.
I
These
love it.
these weeks, these master classes on a weekly basis go by so fast. It is so engaging. We have so many people. Almost everybody that joined us today is still here. Thank you. That's a testament,
Yeah, I
hopefully,
was
to the
watching that
value.
numbers. Very
Hope,
few people dropped off.
hopefully, that's to that lends to the value that we're providing. But we are going to let you go.
Well,
We're
some
here.
people have a life, they got other things to do. The
Okay,
rest
we
of
don't.
us.
You're trying to say we don't have a life? So that's it's time, and we're going to start with you, Mr. Barsano. It's time for final words.
First off, I want to thank Crypto Casey for letting me speak to her audience, as always. I can't wait till she comes on. That's always an added pleasure, added joy. But really, just go Navy. I try to tell that to young people. They think you're asking them to run through a rice paddy with a machine gun or something. And it's not that. That's where I started out programming in the Navy. So.
yeah. Well, thanks, Ed.
So
That's
I
great.
encourage that for young people to do that. And but other than that, hey, I love talking with you guys. I appreciate you inviting me. Thank you.
It's always fun, Mr. Heveshi. What say you?
Yeah, I always like to use the analogy of working hard for your money, and then you've got your money sitting in the bank and it's unemployed. And it's our responsibility to give your money a job. I
Dead money.
can't I can't think of a better job or a better way to employ your money than with GoBabyTrade. It's set it and forget it. It works. It's got a 25-year track record, over 3 million lines of code. We get to enjoy the wisdom of the genius behind it, Mr. Barsano, once a week. So it doesn't get much better than that, folks. You've seen the results. And everybody that owns the trader just freaking loves it. That's all I got to say. Period. End of story.
Okay.
Yeah. What?
Can I make one more comment though
Oh no,
about?
no. You used all your words up.
No, I still got a couple more words. Silver. More and more people are actually opening up stock traders. You can use the same Crypto Casey link for that. Right on the website, that.
Yeah, when you go to the buy now, there's a little radio button. You can buy the stock versus the stock
Right
trader
here,
versus.
you can
Right.
say switch to stocks.
Right.
And more and more people are dumping their silver at these beautiful prices. I mean, I've never, these prices are really super high, and I've watched them go all the way down to $11 and all the way up to 33 and then go all the way back down to 11 over the last 25 years. I have a lot of traders who who run stock traders, and they only trade SLV on 2% moves up and down, 2 or 3%. And just instead of letting your silver just sit there, yeah, it's going up right now, but is it gonna, you're still missing a lot of trades while it's going up. But what happens when it comes all the way back down and you're still sitting with all that silver sitting in your drawer? I'm not an
Yep.
investment advisor. I'm just telling you, more and more clients are opening up stock traders. Most people have
Diversification.
crypto accounts, but a lot of people are also getting stock traders.
Yep.
So
Diversification.
may I say a few words?
No.
Yeah, a few.
I'm done.
So, all right. I forgot to mention it at the beginning, but these are recorded on a weekly basis. Those of you that join us, you can use the exact same link that you used to register for this one. Join us every week. Any changes to that? If you joined our community, if you haven't, I'll put that in the chat here and again in a second. If not, about 24 hours after. Zoom's been a little wonky. It's sending the wrong links sometimes, but we started uploading to Financial Intelligence YouTube channel. Shameless plug. If you go there and you want to be notified when something's posted, then like and subscribe and set the notification so that you know when it's posted. It'll be about 24 hours, maybe a little shorter before this replay is up. And then I promise the other link, stay informed because we're going to start giving away extreme value and maybe even some gifts. If you join our community, it's free to join. It's like-minded people, particularly those that own the trader. You can ask a lot of questions there. You can use all the resources that we gave you. And the last one I'm going to post again is Crypto Casey's discount link.
Yep.
And my parting words are, listen, you've heard a lot. You drank from a fire hose
Oh,
today.
I'm sorry, Edward. We're out of time.
It's we appreciate you investing your time with us. You're in a situation where I'll leave you with this thought. If I came to you and I said, for $3.19 a day, we will give you a complete money machine that will print money for the rest of your life, what would you say to that? And I don't know what your answer is. I don't know what your answer is, but I can tell you we just gave it to you. So use it wisely. Do your research. We've given you all those tools. And if you're still not a believer, that's okay. We're in the same position whether you buy the trader or not. We're here to bless you. I started that when we started 19 hours ago. And it remains the same, right? We're here to educate and bless you. There's not a whole lot. I mean, the value of Mr. Barsano's brain, I don't know, about you, Attila. I know I value my money. If it costs me the less than $300 an hour, then I outsource it. Well, I don't have to outsource anything. All I got to do is keep putting money in the trader, and I get to travel and spend more time with my family. So with that, see you again next week. If you have questions, ask away.
See you next week, everybody. Thank you, Ed Barsano. Appreciate it.
You guys rock, man. Thank you,
Appreciate
Edward.
you, sir.
Thank you, Attila.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fast Eddie B. We'll see you next week. Yep. Cheers.